of gameplay which is currently dominating all of the TI meta, and they are now up against the wall, up against the strongest kind of strat, and they have to make sure every move they make is, you know, disciplined and executed to the highest level, because they will get punished.
All right, it seems like the pressure is on Team Spirit for game 1 of this best of 3. Let's find out how it's going to play out together with OD Pixel and Insania.
Thank you very much, Shiva. Yes, game 1 here between Virtus Pro and Team Spirit. Insania, what do you make of the two drafts here so far? Are we going to get all the action that you'd expect from two teams of this region?
I absolutely think so. I think this is probably the opposite of the last series, where you have two teams that are going to be running at each other non-stop. So, and they have the heroes to do it, right? You have this Elder Titan that's going to be really, really strong. Weaver and Tidehunter that are matching up against each other.
Well, let's see. Let's find out already. VP ready to rock and roll here with a smoke straight off the bat.
Yeah. They want to get aggressive, make sure, I think so what's important here for them is to get vision out in the start, right? They want to try to get the right setups so they have the lanes that they want.
And what sort of specific matchups are you trying to avoid here, do you think?
I think they want to try to avoid getting like any sort of weird lane setup from Team Spirit. They have the Monkey King that they could match up 1 versus 1 against the Underlord and try to get an edge that way. And I think they want to make sure that, you know, everything's going to be normal, everything's going to be standard, and they're getting the vision they want in the start.
Well, they will come up and they will spot Miposhka up here. Not quite able to start a play there. Save holding back on the stun, just in case Spirit did have much more waiting round the corner.
Yeah. You have the Tidehunter Weaver, which I think is their answer to this Elder Titan. We saw Enchantress come out earlier, but this is like a different approach where you're going to try to kill him when he runs at you instead.
We'll see if Mira thinking about trying for the bounty rune steal, but not gonna go for it there.
They had a little bit of a poke here on Miposhka. They're trying to set up some damage, but there doesn't really look like anything's going to come out of it. Monkey King's close by to cover him.
And then we'll get the information on how the lane's going to start. Itura on that carry, Monkey King being backed up by the Bane here. No surprises in that front. And then this mid lane matchup, GPK on the Kunkka. This Kunkka versus Invoker should be pretty good for GPK right early on.
Yeah, I think generally speaking against Kunkka, you want a hero that's like constantly putting harassment, and Invoker doesn't really quite fit that bill. He's more of a passive hero that tries to like out-sustain you to the lane, so I expect GPK to have very good fun.
I see, so VP indeed deciding to start things with Nightfall, farming on the top lane with the backup of Kingslayer, constantly running at Spirit to get that space that the Medusa needs.
Yeah,
DM.
This is the ET, right? They were trying to dodge the ET into Tidehunter, and just by putting their heroes top here and doing this initial smoke move, they forced Team Spirit to react to them and then move the Tidehunter up top. And they're already set up here with 3 to try to punish.
Miposhka, he's looking to be in a bit of trouble here, so he gets the stun and that'll be the setup. First blood for VP. As the musical lanes may have occurred, but VP, they'll still get that first blood to start things off.
I think in any sort of Eastern European matchup, the laning phase is always going to be really, really important. And this is why this initial smoke move came out. And you see VP rotating up their heroes towards top. They don't want to let that Monkey King just dominate the Underlord in a 2v2 situation.
No, absolutely. And as you say, it's just something that we haven't really seen as much in sort of previous tournaments, that sort of willingness to move as early as these two teams are.
I think that's a reflection of the fact that they know each other so well, right? These two teams have gone up against each other a bunch during the DPC. They probably scrimmed each other a ton before this event too.
CS-wise, so the courier here being sniped. As mid lane.
It's kind of playing out like expected, right? GPK is just managing to out-sustain the Invoker for now and sit there and farm creeps. And now he finally has his bottle, so, you know, he's going to be good. I think that's like really the only tough part of the lane, if you're able to maybe shut him off before the bottle. But from this point onward, it should be smooth sailing for the Kunkka.
Absolutely, yeah. Pressure really amounting here for Toronto Tokyo early on. As you said, GPK with the levels, he'll be able to clear up the lane and the small camp. Hasn't been blocked this game, so lots of potential golden XP for GPK to clean up quite early this game.
Yeah, and DM is managing just fine bottom against the Monkey King for now. Like, you see the Monkey King is starting to... Once he gets lane control, it gets a little bit trickier for the Underlord to lane. But Save is here to pull back the lane and just make sure that Underlord... The lane is constantly swinging back and forth, so Underlord can use his fire to secure CS.
14 for 5, 13 for 4, the 2 cores. Oh, VP off to the slightly hotter start here right now. Yep. Save. Well, we'll get taken out by Mira. Able to push back the the Lion in a lane where you are going to constantly see these two supports try and go at one another. DM, of course, will be much safer as the Underlord. A little harder to go on.
Yeah, I expect to see the Lion TP mid here and refill the Kunkka's bottle. This is something that I think VP do a lot. Actually, he didn't. So, okay, so they've deemed GPK's fine without it. He does still have that bounty rune to go pick up, so...
Yeah, that's true. I guess, yeah, he's just having such a good time. He said he doesn't need that sort of extra refill.
Yeah, seems like they're really valuing DM's game, right? He doesn't even want to go mid to refill the bottle. They really want to get that back down there and make sure the monkey can camp pressure.
That makes sense. At the moment, DM, the one that's just a slightly bit more behind than the rest.
Yeah, he's also been put in the toughest matchup, right? You got the Monkey King, you have the minus armor from the Weaver, so it's a tough lane to play in. And you notice they're just constantly shoving the wave out to be able to pull these hard camps and the small camp. But Mira's really on top of it. He's going to run over to block the small camp, and then DM's in perfect position to pull the hard camp. Really, really smart play by them.
See another go here onto Save. Save. He'll be able to hold back Mira, but Yatoro jumping in with the Primal Spring. That'll get the kill done.
That's a huge kill. He doesn't have his teleport ready yet, so that's 20 seconds of DM being alone in the bottom lane. But because they did this pulling thing so well, you notice that DM's going to be under his own tower, and he's going to get all the farm anyway. So great play from Team Spirit, but VP were set up for it, so it doesn't really hurt them too much.
I mean, and what's sort of the game plan for Save in this early game? Because it seems like this bottom lane it's sort of guaranteed death. It's very hard for him to stay alive as a Lion against these two.
Yeah, I think what he's aiming to do is just make sure that DM gets some sort of farm out of the lane. We see No Tail from OG do this a lot, where like he will die a couple of times, but once you take a glance over at the CS, you notice that the Underlord he's doing fine. He's managing, even though he's 1v2, because a lot of resources are being burnt in zoning out the position 5. Or 4 in this case, in Save.
Indeed, Save. Straight back over here towards the bottom mid lane. League continues here for GPK. 36, we'll see. Again, Save. That's got the Hex. Let's see if they want to try and bring the Monkey King over. No, they won't. The creep's getting pushed in now underneath the tower. DM with the levels. The Firestorm able to keep that wave pushed in. As top lane. Collapse. I'm going to go down there. Kingslayer getting away with that one. Not even losing his life in return.
Yeah, and in the middle lane, as expected, right, you see the Kunkka is slowly starting to edge out the Invoker. This is a lot due to the fact that Kunkka can both farm out the lane with his Tidebringer and then rotate himself over to the small camp and farm it out while he's waiting for the wave to push back in.
I mean, and as it goes for these two mids, who's going to be looking to make the move first?
I think once Kunkka's 6, you could expect some sort of support rotation over. It's pretty hard for the Invoker to pair up with any of his 2 supports to really get kills here, but with the right rune, you know, double damage, they might have some sort of threat, but without it, I think it's almost impossible. So expect VP to make the first move towards mid.
See, top, they try and go on to Nightfall. Good cover here from Kingslayer. Stomp out onto the 2 of them. We'll look to force them back off away from his Medusa. Yes, Nightfall will be able to continue to farm safely. Bottom lane, not going to be the same story for Yatoro, though. This time round, Save and DM will manage to kill him off underneath his own tower.
Yeah, and this is huge for them. You pick this Monkey King to zone out the Underlord, right? You want to make sure you shut him down, but they're managing to find this kill. And I think this is a lot due to the fact of how Save played the lane. They've managed to pull XP into the Underlord, and once he hits level 5, they have the damage to take out the Monkey King.
Do have a smoke here from VP. Kingslayer looking toward this mid lane, but Toronto Tokyo is playing very cautious. A scan comes out as well. He's aware that VP likely looking to try and get some sort of setup onto him mid.
So an interesting thing about the smoke, he timed it with when you would normally go to stack the triangle, right? And since you see a Medusa and a Kunkka, you're probably expecting this ET to go stack the Ancients. So it was a really smart play from ET coming out, but even smarter by Toronto Tokyo, who read that move.
Bottom lane. Look at the setup onto Mira. And with a stun and a hex. Oh, maybe with the stick charges. Mira. Actually is going to live through that attempt there from VP. GPK not quite in range to follow up to that setup. So Mira will manage to get away.
And you see they get this ward out behind them as a consequence. I think VP spotted it out though, as they have a ward right next to it that should have seen the Weaver place it.
I mean, look at this move top. Setup's been here from Imposter. Toronto Tokyo. TP's over. Mana's gone. Nightfall getting burst low by the EMP. Tornado as well. As Toronto Tokyo leaves no chance for Nightfall to get away. Very good move there from Spirit, knowing that VP had left Nightfall on their own.
I think they really need to make sure that they keep these moves going. And once you have earn charges on the Invoker, it becomes a lot easier. So this first TP is really important for him that it pays off. I think if the game continues going stale, you see VP's cores are just getting more CS for every minute that passes by, and their heroes farm faster. So it's on Team Spirit now to really try to enable the Invoker as we move into the mid game and get some moves going.
I mean, I'm going to see a bit of a move up from the side of the map that DM wants to play. So he's now going to look to start sitting up on this top lane, holding back some of the pressure that's been put in and swapping things around with Nightfall, coming down to farming the other half of the map.
Yeah, and just continued stacks coming out from VP. They know what their objective is. They just need to get items and try to hit their timing in the game. They want that Manta on the DOTA. They want the Kunkka to come online as fast as possible, and then they'll be able to fight back. But up until then, I think Team Spirit's going to look for pressure.
All right, Toronto Tokyo, he's managed to come into VP's jungle and set him onto Nightfall. This time round, TP backup will be coming in. Nightfall gets low though. The Boundless Strike comes down. They take out the Medusa once again. Toronto Tokyo will die for this. But Mira and Yatoro, are they able to make it out of here? Mira, he's been found, caught out by the X-Mark. They'll drag him back. The vision's out, they take him down. Maposhka, he's come over, but he can't do anything to help, but he's only going to end up losing his life as well. We'll start, Yatoro, he was tempted to commit for save, but opts to keep his life intact there as he will back off. But a kill attempt, this onto Nightfall, but this time around, a very dangerous place to make the move. VP easily able to respond and taking 3 heroes down in return.
Yeah, and one of the advantages of having a greedy carry like Medusa is this hero can farm fast, right? So even though you're punishing it, he has the ability to come back into the game.
And look at this, they want to go for GPK. Cold Snap, the setup, they'll be able to sidestep the Torrent. GPK, they'll catch him on the retreat here with the Tornado, and GPK goes down.
Yeah, this is a massive kill. He was trying to come in and evade and try to take some stacks while he thought the enemy heroes were dead, but Team Spirit really fast on the response there. They know where to move their heroes. During all of this, you see Collapse just sitting in the top lane, and we've talked about Collapse a lot on the panel. This guy kind of likes to play like a carry. He is like one of the big players for Team Spirit that tries to stay uninvolved in the early game, and then once he hits his Blink Dagger timings, you can expect a lot coming out from him.
And do you think that sort of early game greediness from him is going to be to pay off this game? How necessary is it that he joins the rest of his team? Can these other 4 heroes make enough moves to allow him to sort of AFK in that top situation?
I think that's their game plan, right? They want to try to set up Collapse to be some sort of win condition for him. And I think so far the way the game's been playing out, it's feeding into that, right? Collapse is not really playing as a disruptor. There's nothing that's stopping him from allowing him to get Ravage off. The Kraken Shell will always purge out these stuns they see from VP's side. The burst damage is fairly limited. They might be able to combine some Elder Titan with Lion at some point, but it's a hard ask. So I think it's a good idea that they got going.
The line's being drawn down at the bottom. Save. He's able to pick up the 6. Mira just trying to keep eyes on him. Also has GPK around him. Mira quite a bit of trouble here unless Toronto Tokyo can do something big. They got the X-Mark into the boat. No detection out though at the moment, and Mira off to the side, but the angle is there. GPK finds them with the Tidebringer. A nice little kill there, and still having that finger of save ready to use if they want to try and push on for some more action. Yatoro.
You notice how Yatoro's really active for Team Spirit, and he's constantly like putting himself in positions where he could potentially join some sort of play. This is something that I think is very unique to Spirit, where Yatoro will be more active in the early game, and then later on he'll start taking the farm as Collapse comes online. And he's reaching that point. The Tidehunter is getting pretty close to finishing up his item, and you should see this Ravage fight come out soon for Team Spirit, where they look to take some tower.
Lively now. Your Admiral is on board.
Yatoro will back out of this area for now. Top lane, they're looking to try and get the kill onto DM. See DM trying to get the ultimate going, but they've got a lot of disable. Cold Snap kicking in. DM can't get the ult off.
So by moving all these heroes top, they brought 4 heroes top. Let's see what VP can do on the response. For them, it looks like they're going to try to invade into the triangle, secure some sort of vision, or check the stack situation. And during all of this, you see Medusa's just slowly farming away at the Ancients in the triangle. The space created from DM.
It certainly is, and now we'll see the other 3 members of VP look to continue to grow that space. Kingslayer, GPK, and save. Off with the smoke, but As it is, Spirit very much grouped up. Not going to be caught off here, and we'll see with Spirit's strength from the farm that Collapse has. It's a little careful and you know, difficult for VP to make moves into Spirit's 5-man lineup as Collapse. He'll always be there ready to pop that Ravage and potentially turn things around with a good combo from Toronto.
So one of the counterplays to, you know, a lot of TPs being used here is that the VP knows that Spirit are now stuck wherever they show on the map, wherever their heroes are showing. They know that they can play on the opposite end of the map. So at this point they realize, you know, a lot of heroes bottom, we can move in, pressure out this mid tower, and set up for some sort of weak reaction where you know there won't be 5 heroes.
Well, here with the tower trade, as soon as they take this, TP already coming up top. Gonna have to be a little cautious though on the Bane. Still look to try and hold on to this mid. This top lane, Miposhka will be seen. No, not quite able to get the setup. Even with the rest of Spirit coming over, Miposhka, it's going to be hard for him to close in for a Nightmare lead in. As VP, they'll show their faces and back off as soon as they know that they forced a reaction from Spirit, and Spirit backed over to their half of the map.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the net worth, you'll notice I think VP are quite happy with this pacing. They're getting the farm on their 2 cores that they want. Medusa already has a Dragonlance Yasha finished up. Their Kunkka is extremely strong. He has Armlet, which is currently one of the strongest items in the game. We were talking about it back in the panel.
I mean, the stats, right? The damage.
It's crazy. It gives you 75 damage on a strength hero.
GPK. Gonna try and start things off here. They've got the grip to lock him down. He needs help. If they've got anything to stop this grip, they don't. GPK caught out from the high ground there. And top, Yitoro, he's going to look to try and pick something more out of this as well as he's heading over to save. See the tornado angle coming from Toronto Tokyo, and he lines it up brilliantly. Another catch here for Spirit.
I mean, Team Spirit are playing this game extremely well. This is the pace they have to play with. They have to continue applying the pressure because they're getting out-farmed. If you look at the gold ticker, it's constantly moving in the favor of VP. So these plays are needed for them to slow VP down. But as of right now, it's not really working out. But they need to continue this aggression. And once the Tidehunter is strong enough to join them, that's when they really need to take out some towers and then start controlling map space.
Sure. I mean, that's sort of the big thing we've seen, or not seen so far from Spirit, just fighting with Collapse involved. He's still sort of kept to his own devices.
Yeah, and he's about to finish up the Blink Dagger, so expect the smoke coming out.
And the timer's certainly ticking. Nightfall and GPK getting serious farm so far this game. Spirit, what sort of setup will they be able to get here with Blink Dagger? Ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, VP are doing a good job of only showing their cores on the lanes, while they have Medusa farming a stacked up triangle and the camps that are safe. You only really ever see the Medusa walk up to creeps if there's a hero nearby to keep him safe. And in this case, that's saved. As they're attempting a kill on Collapse mid.
So you set up. They're coming in, Collapse. Finger as well. And he's got Nightfall moving into position with the Stone Gaze. Collapse can't get out. At the same time, the fight kicking off the side. GPK has been caught in the Wukong's command. The boat comes crashing over there. GPK, he's still alive. He's able to arm toggle himself back out. He's getting away. He walks out of the whole team fight. They can't kill the Kunkka. And VP, they've managed to move themselves on top of Toronto Tokyo. He's trying to run, but the damage not going to quite be done here. Toronto Tokyo also surviving somehow. Finally, GPK goes down in the river. Ishitoro will manage to wrap around and get on top of the Kunkka.
Yeah, he sniped him with a stun there at the end, but oh my god, those armlet toggles, those are crazy. He kept staying alive and then he keeps baiting Team Spirit into a bad position.
Well, we're going to see them continue to try and fight here. Nightfall and DM, they turn towards Mirror, but now the chase for Yutoro comes out. VP, they've decided to bail out of this. They see Spirit just chasing them down. Save has been left over towards the mid here. Lead forward, big hit coming in with a boundless strike from Yutoro. Spirit, they're finding these fights that, as you say, they've got to keep going. They've got to bring this action. And my goodness, they certainly are. They'll take the team fight, and by the looks of it, they'll take this mid tower as well. Pretty much nullifying that lead the VP had began to create from the farm they're able to pick up on the map.
And the best part of all of this is they didn't have to use a Ravage. The Ravage is still up, so expect to see Team Spirit to group up and go for another move here. They still are stronger than VP. The Stone Gaze is going to be back, but they're missing the Finger of Death, and the other Titan ulti is still down for another 20 seconds.
And Miposhka, he's got grip. TPs are going to have to come in here, surely, for VP as Spirit. So they want to commit for it. This they do. Save. We'll be able to come in for the trees, stop the Fiend's grip channeling.
That was beautiful spellcasting from Save.
And they have to keep GPK safe. We've seen in a few fights, really, GPK very much trying to be the front man here for the team. But with the damage Spirit have, the Spirit Vessel as well, it has been enough to really threaten GPK.
Yep. Team Spirit are aware that heroes were committed to the bottom lane, so they decided to smoke over towards the mid now. And they know that there are not a lot of TPs ready. So.
GPK, again, he tries to walk down to see what's going on, but they find him immediately, drop the combo. GPK's trying to run Collapse. He'll go over towards Save. Stomp from Kingslayer, holds back Mirror and Collapse, but Yatoro leads in with the Primal Spring, closes in onto Save. A Spirit, absolute killers here as they continue to just roam the map and keep VP completely on their toes.
Yeah, and like I said, the best part of this is Ravage is not explained. Oh my god, 4 TPs to the top.
Oh my goodness, yeah, indeed, and Collapse. Can you get in for the gush? Not quite. DM just out of range there, but I mean, you see it. It's Team Spirit just completely on the same page here with the franticness of the moves that they're pulling out.
They're absolutely in control of the pace of the game, and I think during the group stages, it felt like if you don't control pace, you're going to really, really struggle. I think in the playoffs, we've seen some teams that have been able to, you know, come play away from that and start playing more to just play reactive. But in this series, between the two of these Eastern European giants, I feel like whoever has pace control is going to be determining the pace of the game, and that's going to allow you to get more farm. So, yeah, it feels like Spirit are really doing everything they need to do to stay ahead here.
Getting over, taking a bit of this triangle as well away from VP. VP playing a bit more cautious now.
Top tower is under attack.
Not seeing GPK being the one to lead sort of the movements now.
That's so hard for them to kill the Tidehunter. So wherever the Tidehunter shows up, they kind of have to play away from. So Tidehunter goes top, you see VP swing over to the bottom side of the map.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
See over towards the mid. TP's coming in as Miposhka's looking for the setup. DM, he's looking to play it safe. He's looking to take the match straight away with the Rift. He makes it just in time. Gets the both of them out of there this time round. Nobody will fall to Spirit, at least not yet. Spirit, they are chasing on. Again, just feeling so confident when they're fighting around their Tidehunter here. Collapse, very, very strong. Jump on the Yatoro there, they found him up in the trees.
That was a perfect Blink reveal for them. He just finished out the Blink Dagger, TP's mid, and snipes out the Monkey King.
Let's see if they can get anything more here. VP whilst Yatoro is down. They're certainly going to look for it. Smoke up straight away from VP. Now it's their turn to hit back with the action.
It seems like Nightfall decided to skip the Manta, and he's going to go straight for that Eye of Skadi. It feels like he needs the stats to survive.
Step lively now.
We're running out of time a little bit here on the Monkey King respawn. 10 seconds or so. They're going to make a move quick, Save. We'll get the opening straight in. Get the setup. And it's going to be Toronto Tokyo going down. Mirror. As the bugs out. And they've got the grip onto GPK. TP's coming in. Spirit. They may have lost their mid, but they will be able to get the trade onto VP's mid in return.
This is all great space though. You see Nightfall's just farming the jungle, up top lane DM's just pushing out the waves. I think for even though it's a mid for mid trade, VP's coming out on top because they have both their cores farming out the side lanes and they're closing in on items that they really need. So great delays from VP. They're managing to keep this game even.
Still coming out alone on this map, proving to be rather scary with Yatoro and Mirror as actively hunting as they are.
Skadi finished up for Nightfall now.
Yeah, things have definitely become a lot more difficult for Spirit if they try and fight close to this Medusa. Nightfall ready to stand tall.
There's also a Lotus Orb just about to be finished on DM, so this is going to be a big timing for VP. So if Team Spirit are not careful and try to run into them, VP are definitely ready to fight back now.
Smoke out from the Roche pit. Starting off things in the mid, no jump. Collapse, committing with the Ravage. They want to blow up Nightfall before any sort of backup comes into play. Stone Gaze is used, but they'll quickly avert their eyes, and they'll be ready to turn back in and slam down the Medusa as Nightfall goes down. With them out of the game for 50 seconds, the space is going to be there for Spirit to head straight into the pit there. Nightfall maybe feeling a little too confident with the Skadi complete, pushing out quite far from the rest of his team in that mid lane. No hesitation there from Collapse to start off the action with the Ravage.
Yeah, and this is great to see. I think you got to be on your toes here, ready to make that jump. I think a lot of teams probably wouldn't have made that jump, assuming that there's cover. But Bane is top bottom lane now.
I see bottom. A little bit of an attempt from a setup from Miposhka. I mean, Miposhka is still alive. Brain Sap onto the creeps. Is that going to keep him living? It's not. Goes down, but time's been bought. DM, he'll take the two of them out of there.
I think in this game, you see both teams really able to punish each other's timings. Right as the Tidehunter had his blink earlier, VP took a great fight in the mid lane, and now, as soon as DOTA finishes up the Skadi, Team Spirit interrupt that timing by using a Ravage to blow her up and just constantly delaying the game. But I think that really does favor VP. So even though a lot of things are going right for Spirit, I think this is really their time to shine. So once they get the Ravage up, I expect them to go try to take over the enemy side of the map and really force VP into their base, which I feel like they haven't really quite been able to do, even though they're getting a lot of really good kills.
VP, smoke up for the low ground save, straight up with the initiation. He's got the opening onto Collapse. Collapse is pretty tanky. Have they got the damage to take him out? It's back up on its way. It is Tornado, not going to hit anything. Misses them all. Collapse still being run down here. I mean, he's falling low, but he's not quite dead. He's finally going to go down. They will get the jump done, but now Yatoro is in with the BKB, jumps along the backlines. That's the Wukong's command out. As Nightfall Stone Gaze and has attempted to escape. DM also able to head off to the side mirror, keeping themselves on top of the Medusa. Just got to be careful of Nightfall with that Skadi. Hitting back hard, so Mirror will back off.
So you're noticing in every single team fight, once the Monkey King ult comes down, Medusa's going to want to respond with Stone Gaze to force both teams to disengage from each other. It's a great tool for VP to just zone everything out, make sure that they can't get chased down, and just get out of that Monkey King ulti and force Yatoro to chase out of his ult.
I mean, such a close back and forth game. Exactly what you would hope to see between these two teams. It's 1k gold in it, 13 to 17, 25 minutes in.
And my only worry is about the scaling. I just feel like VP's draft just keeps scaling up so nicely into this game. And if they can already kill the Tidehunter, that means that, you know, as the game goes on and the Medusa starts buying items that actually allow her to deal damage, it's only going to get easier for them.
Absolutely, no, as you said, Spirit's attitude this game, and has been in many others, was to put that increased priority on getting Collapse's game going early. Has had a couple of solid Ravages, but other than that, the fight's not looking easy for him to perform.
Yeah, I just think VP's been doing a great job of just disrupting Team Spirit's game plan. Even though Team Spirit's been getting these kills and, you know, they're applying the pressure, which their draft should be doing, there is always an answer back. And I think Save has like really been leading the charge. As soon as he got the blink on Lion, it felt like the momentum of the game kind of shifted. And you saw VP have the ability to fight back, and especially for map control.
Dire are scanning. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Spirit. Still 2 minutes left on Yatoro's Aegis. They want to get something done. But VP, as strong as they are, they're right up by Spirit's tier 2 tower, so quite the walk Spirit's going to have to take if they want to run into them.
This is great discipline coming out from VP. Their vision is in the top area of the map, so they're only willing to fight here. So they're just basically setting up their hero's top, and they're saying, you know what, even though you're damaging 2 of our towers, we're going to take out your top tower faster, and this is where we are willing to fight you, so you need to come back to us. They understand that these 2 towers that they have in both the mid and the bottom lane aren't that valuable for them, as it is to fight under their own vision. So just gonna happily give it up while they keep farming it and reaching their timings on their heroes.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, both are trying to force the others back here. It's VP getting as close to the tier 3 right now. What's Spirit going to do about this as Nightfall starts knocking at the door? Spirit, they're going to have to answer. Miposhka will turn up. Nice little sleep dodge at the stomp.
Yeah, even gets a voice line from GPK.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But yeah, the way that Team Spirit have set up their wards right now on the map, if you take a look, they have one ward in almost every lane of the map. And this is because they know that once this game breaks up and both teams start resetting back, and it's a map control game, this is going to give them opportunities for pickoffs. Whereas VP set up 2 wards up in the top jungle, expecting Team Spirit to come to the top side of the map and try to fight them. So once we move into this map control state of the game, Team Spirit are going to be favored.
We jump on a save. What more can they get? Got to keep eyes on that Aegis timer. 10 seconds. Spirit trying their best to force some action. For VP. Will GPK and DM get caught out here? Very tanky now with DM having the Crimson Guard. And DM, he's taking the 2 of them out. He can sense something's coming.
Yep. Spider senses are tingling. No heroes showing on the map for too long a period of a time, and just decides, you know what, I'm going to take it safe.
I mean, they really are. I mean, as expected, but you know, this game, you can absolutely see just how much these 2 teams know each other.
Yeah, you can feel the tension too, right? Like the way that they're moving around. Team Spirit's very grouped up, so is VP. They don't want to make that mistake that might cost you the game. VP noticed that the Invoker's alone as the Monkey King shows top, and I think this might be their cue to try to make a move once Save is caught up to his teammates.
Miposhka. Not sure that he's got the grab there from the low ground. So VP, whether they're being spotted, and with the information that the vision's up to the top half of the triangle, they smoke up from the bottom half of the triangle, knowing it's much less likely that Spirit would have eyes there as well.
Yeah, they're trying to attempt the wraparound, but the tier 1 middle lane tower is still up, so this might be a difficult wrap to have. It's so low though, it only has 50 HP, and this 50 HP just might make the difference. And you see VP back off, recognizing that, you know what, we can't make this move. Now Spirit instead. Trying to fight into VP, but they have a ward up, so this could be a difficult fight for them, if they're not ready. As you notice, just the standoff between both teams, this is respect coming out for the understanding that, you know, if we fight into the enemy team's vision, it's going to be difficult. Miposhka's pinging out these, like, I think they have a ward here on the minimap, and they're really, really careful about not fighting into the enemy team's wards.
I mean, when are we going to see them run into? It seems that they're just reading each other too well.
As just none of the teams are willing to fight into wards. I think it really comes down to that. And if you're Team Spirit here, you recognize that Roshan's going to be up within the next minute or so. So you want to control the top side triangle. And very likely we're going to see VP fight back for that Roshan. Because if they don't, it's going to go down so quickly.
Well, looking down bottom again, but DM is out before anything happens here. Spirit might get the chance to just take this tier 2 tower. Toronto. So looking for Kingslayer here. We'll commit with the BKB. See how much further they can chase. Oh, that was a great read there. Toronto, you knew that Slayer was going to stand still to avoid the Sunstrike. It ends up coming straight down on him. He reads him like a book.
A beautiful play right there.
That was excellent.
But you can tell how tense they are, right? That BKB usage from the Invoker just indicates, like, you know, they're always scared that someone might be there to back them up, as DM is caught mid.
I mean, yeah, straight away to the mid. Miposhka's caught him with the grip. And they turn that quick kill on a Slayer into something a little bigger. DM now out for a minute.
Yeah, and Roshan's just about to respawn, they think, but it seems like he's not. So, no Rosh on the first timer tick. They're just going to continue to sweep the map here, I think. When they have the dominant, they have the numbers advantage, this is the time for them to just make sure that they keep applying the pressure to keep VP in their base. They're finally getting that map setup that they were looking for in the earlier portion of the game. And it's reflected in Monkey King's farm. He's caught up to Nightfall, which is huge for them. They need this Monkey King to be able to stand his ground.
See if they answer them this time here. VP. 20 seconds until DM's back in. And Spirit, I'll certainly try and finish this tower before anything comes in regarding DM. And it will be theirs. Another objective taken. Closer and closer now towards Collapse being able to pick up his next item. That's the next one done for Yatoro. Skadi on the way. In fact, it's just been delivered. So Skadi up for him. Evasion's going to be online very soon for Nightfall.
Yeah, and VP are so lucky that this Roshan hasn't spawned. It's going to be just long enough for Nightfall to finish up his item before it comes up.
both teams just so patient this game. And it really has. It's just kept so close. Normally we see some sort of lead up and then swing around, but it's been a few thousand gold in it for the last 30 minutes or so.
Radiant's courier.
I just think both teams are doing exactly what they're supposed to for their drafts to play out. And getting into this late game, I thought that, you know, for sure VP is going to have an edge. But I think with how the game's been panning out, you know, it feels really even. Either side could really do it.
I mean, it's just that, you know, this whole game, Yatoro is the Monkey King. He's been keeping right up with Nightfall's Medusa. He is massive. And now into the pit they go.
So far. I think Yatoro's really been playing out of his mind for the entirety of this tournament.
This is an very impressive carry. Monkey King here this game. VP, they are going to want to do something about Spirit getting this Roshan, but the Wukong's command is down. Yatoro daring them to step up into this. GPK will lead things up with the bow, but Yatoro commits with the BKB. They get the kill, VP, but Spirit, they get that Aegis secure. Ravage out onto the four of them. DM trying to take the bow, but the grip is on him over it. No, it's not DM. He's able to step over and take everybody out of there.
What an unbelievable play by DM. Crazy! What an attempt by VP. Like when you think about it, how crazy you gotta be to pop that Stone Gaze, run into the Monkey King ult. They did get the Roshan kills.
They got the kill.
Gold, so yeah, they got something out of it.
They're straight back out. Yeah. They know that the Aegis is on Yatoro.
But the Ravage is down, and so is the Monkey King ult and the Fiend's Grip. So this could potentially be an opening for VP to try to do something.
They've still got the finger, so they've certainly got the burst if they can get that jump from Save. He's been pretty good at it so far, very willing to just throw his body in to find that initiation.
And look at this, they send Nightfall top to show on the top wave, trying to give Team Spirit the false sense of security here in the bottom area. And then Save goes in, drops a ward, not going to find the initiation this time.
Oh, Slayer.
Oh, what a stun.
Oh, he's got the two of them here. Save. Forced out to the side here, but the bugs are upon him. He'll turn. But Save, he's just dying to the bug of Mirror.
Yeah, if you get the initiation on the two supports, it's just very hard for them to fight back. Both ET caught, solo save, and you notice Team Spirit, Virtus Pro recognize that and they immediately back off.
Let's see what they've got here now. That's GPK. He's going to charge him with the bow straight down onto the beam. But Poshka, he's gone. See what they can get from the jump from Collapse. Collapse, he's trying to get in on top of Nightfall, but Nightfall's focusing down Toronto Tokyo. The BKB comes out from Toronto, trying to run. GPK looking to try and get the catch on him, but he's too fast. DM, he's been left behind by the rest of his team. This time, DM out to start off the action. See the buyback from Poshka as he's already heading immediately over to see if he can get some sort of grab onto the two of them. Now watching for the high ground, but the stun comes out for Yatoro. The Balance Strike straight in on top of them. Sunstrike's going to miss. GPK's got to reset for now, pulling a little low. Yatoro looking to get on top of Nightfall, but the Stone Gaze is out. Yatoro jumps back up to the trees. The finger straight in onto Poshka as it's a dieback on the Bane. But this was two buybacks from VP committed to make this play.
Yeah, they needed to. I think if Nightfall goes down there, they're in a very, very hard position to play the game. But now they have a dieback situation going on the Bane. So that's 60 seconds where they can try to set up the lanes and get map control back and try to finish up their round of items. Because you see 3,000 gold on the Medusa isn't really helping her do anything. But as soon as that 3,000 gold turns into a BKB, that's a pretty big advantage you have. Because she's really getting controlled by this Invoker.
We'll see a recap of this fight again. I mean, what sort of stood out to you the most about this move here?
I mean, it's a great initiation they find on the Bane. As soon as the Bane is taken out, you notice VP feel very comfortable standing the ground. And there's no Ravage, so you can see Nightfall's just very easily able to chase. But as soon as a Bane buyback comes out, their position here is kind of broken from VP. You see DM on one side of the screen, and you have Nightfall and Kunkka on the other. And this is just a little bit of miscommunication, I think, coming in towards the end of that fight.
We've seen a few times now where DM's ability to disengage has been huge. And without him there at the start of things, a very, very hard fight for VP to back out from when things don't start to go their way. As now, Spirit able to push up a bit of a lead here, up 4K. Yatoro still standing there, pretty much dead even this whole game with Nightfall. Both of these carries just on the completely same level.
Yeah. Medusa finishes up the BKB. Now this gives her 9 seconds of where the Invoker can no longer Deafening Blast her, because that's been her biggest problem in the team fights. Just constantly getting Deafening Blasted, not allowed to output any damage. So I expect this next team fight that comes out, eyes on Medusa, because she's finally going to be able to be allowed to deal damage. As top lane Save is caught.
No, he's going to be gone for sure. Saves out.
Yep, and Spirit's already in position to make a move with both Tidehunter and Monkey King here. Smoked up, gonna jump on the Kingslayer.
Whoa. This time off the mark with the Boundless. Bit of a rare miss there from Yatoro compared to some of the fantastic stuns he's hit so far.
Yeah, absolutely. We have an Aghanim Scepter also finished up on the Tidehunter, so anyone that's caught in the Monkey King ult with Gush on top of them, that's gonna be real tough.
Oh my goodness, the physical damage coming out from those two. I mean, even just sort of a Gush and a Boundless. Some of these squishier heroes are going to disappear in a flash.
Yeah, absolutely. If you see either DM if you see either Kingslayer or Save get caught by that Gush,
yeah,
they're gone.
It's a lot of minus armor really across the board when you factor in the Forge Spirits and the Weaver as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nightfall. They're going to commit, collapse, in with the Ravage, he's back, caught the fourth of them, this is giving them good time to fully focus onto the Medusa, the brilliant grip there from Naposhka as well. There's no way to VP to stop it, and now they've got to run. The guys shout onto the two of them, Torrent off the mark, but Toronto Tokyo's heading into the high ground with the BKB ship's got an ice wall, he's got the three of them, Boundless strike down, the pushback for the Deafening Blast into the meatballs, as DM dies inside the base. And they're not even done yet, they're looking towards the tier 4, Shitoro is going right up to the Ancient, GPK's back to the fountain, go quick blink into the Mental Sunstrike, it'll hit, they're diving in, they want to. They've got to be a little careful when the fountain dies, but my goodness, the power there that Spirit just charged in with. And I mean, Toronto, Tokyo, he guarantees them those extra kills, just going straight in with the BKB Shivas. There's no escape from VP from this Invoker.
But they're not scared on Team Spirit at all, right? They're just charging up the high ground, showing no respect. They don't care if Deuce has the buyback. They're glad to give up the Invoker kill if there's a buyback on the Medusa. But I want to say, that's all started off with great initiation coming from Collapse, right? Does not hesitate at all. You see the Medusa up in front, blink Ravage, that allows Naposhka to keep that perfect position to get the Fiend's Grip off. And just overall, the team coordination coming out from Spirit right now just looks really, really nice. The way they're playing off each other is crazy.
And straight up the top lane, no buybacks on the members of VP here. Spirit taking so much here away from Virtus Pro.
That's his Mega Creeps for sure, and maybe even more.
I see Spirit, do they want to stick around for further fights, or will they chill out for a bit? Looks like they'll back off. Yep. Very happy, of course, they are with what they've achieved here. No need to push it, as this game has just gone completely in their direction right now. 93% on the win probability, 16k lead. Mega's out. I mean, VP, they do have the Dusa and the Kunkka. You know, these are cores that aren't too bad at pushing back the Megas, but no doubt about it, a tough position for VP to play from.
Yeah, the Mega Creeps, the real advantage that it's giving VP right now is, Team Spirit right now is just that it's going to keep VP in their base and allow Team Spirit to kind of decide, what do we want to do with this? The Mega Creeps themselves aren't going to actually apply that much pressure outside of just making sure the VP can't freely move out on the map and make any moves that they want. So Spirit, they're just going to wait for Roche. It could spawn in about 30 seconds. So from now on, just expect Spirit to try to farm out, play together, play grouped up. You don't want to give anything away for free. Maybe even potentially try to set up on these lanes as they see VP heroes pushing out of their base. I would imagine the communication right now is just like, hey guys, we just wait for Roche. If I get the Aegis, I'm confident that we can easily end this game, but for VP's sake, you know, you got to be thinking, okay, can we defend our base and potentially contest this Roshan, or is it too hard?
I mean, what do you do here if you're VP?
That's such a hard choice.
But do you get out or do you have to sit back?
DM's caught. I mean, who knows? It's hard. It's a really hard decision to make, and I think it's like comes down to your attitude as a team. What is it that you want to accomplish here? It looks like they're trying to come out. They don't want to give it away for free, but Team Spirit's on top of it, and they're not letting them really gain any ground to try to set up for a potential Roshan fight.
I mean, what's the best hope for VP in these team fights? Like, which of these heroes are you saying, Save, you got to get in on top of, we've got to blow them up to start off the action?
I think ideally you want to get on top of the Bane, but he has a full BKB finished up. So
oh my goodness,
if you don't catch him at the start, that's a full grip that's going to go off.
Yeah, and we've seen so far Naposhka's grips. Fantastic.
Oh, beautiful by Mira. Pops the smoke here, and this should force Nightfall and VP to fall back, but it looks like they're going to try anyway.
I mean, they're coming out. Putting on a bit of a brave face here, VP. Toronto, Tokyo. Just going to give them a bit of a tickle to start the action off Yatoro. He's ready to jump in, there's Collapse! Immediately with Ravage, a second Ravage, locking down the 4 of them as Nightfall, completely out of mana, trying to run away with the BKB. The Earth Split will hold back Yatoro for now, but Nightfall, can he really escape this? He cannot. The Medusa dead. No buyback for Nightfall, as this should be the window that Spirit need to charge down mid and end this game.
Yeah, this is, I don't know how you hold this off. VP thinking they're like, you know what, this is probably the best fight that we have. So they decide to move out of their base. They feel like the Aegis is too much to hold, and it just doesn't work out for them. I think for VP to have a good fight at this point, they really need initiation. And showing 2 heroes on the middle lane like that, I'm just not sure that's going to give it to them.
We see actually a Spirit that they're going to hold off from pushing down the mid. Obviously we here at home, we can see Dusa dead for a minute. It is on the monetary side of things, so maybe assuming that the buyback was there and not wanting to make the mistake of pushing into a potential buyback from Nightfall. So they'll hold back for now, and VP, they will get the breathing room to keep this game going.
Yeah, I mean, they probably assumed that the way the VP came out of base, right? You don't really do that play unless you have buybacks. It's too crazy otherwise, but you know, VP are simultaneously not showing any respect to Team Spirit either, right? They're looking for the opportunities they have to win the game.
It's all right. BKB committed here for a quick one. Kingslayer's gone, but Toronto Tokyo is already in the base. He gets the lead and onto GPK. 20 seconds and Nightfall's back in action. Right, the buyback from Kingslayer.
Yeah.
Well, they're looking for save.
He knows
looking
he's not
pretty
just
dead
trying to apply
here.
the damage that he can in the form of mana drain. Yeah, Roshan about to spawn in about 5 seconds. I expect some player of Team Spirit is going to go check it out, and once they get that Aegis, it should be a pretty easy high ground push where you just drop the Monkey King ult to cover your heroes, and then you fight on top of the Monkey ult as you have 2 refreshers, I believe? No, it's an Agnum Scepter. Still very good though. I expect the Monkey King to pick it up now that he's 6 spotted.
Just a case, of course, for VP. Sitting back in the base there. There's not a lot they can do to stop Spirit from getting this. A lot of money being built up on some of the cores again from Spirit. I mean, Toronto Tokyo just walking around with a straight 5k in the bank.
Dude, he's eyeing up an overwhelming blink on Invoker.
I mean, we've seen, you know, the way he jumps in. You combine that sort of jump with the Shiva's Guard, the Ice Wall. When the BKBs are down, you're not moving anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's no instant disable, right? When he pops his BKB, he's safe. There's only that Stone Gaze that will slowly take him into a stone, but the way he's been playing it, he's gonna have all the time in the world to reset back after he blinks in. So really nice crowd control coming out of this Invoker, which is great against what VP has to defend with. So
Oh, he's been having a fantastic game, Toronto.
we have a Dagon on GPK. They just want that 1 kill, right? They're recognizing that we need to kill something on initiation. So Dagon GPK on Kunkka. I did not think I'd see that on the TI main stage.
Oh, not at all. Nightfall, how's the Divine Rapier progress looking? 2600. Right now, he's going to need a fair bit more time, and I don't know if that's going to be given to him as the smoke ups here from Spirit. They're behind him up the rear to get collapsed. Straight over the first Ravage, pops the refresher into the second. Nightfall is gone. Has got buyback this time round, but the GPK has been caught by the grip from Pochko with the lockdown. GPK's out of the game for 2 minutes. TM, he's trying to take it back to safety here with the Rift, but the Ancient's exposed. GPK dead. Yatoro and the team looking to close things up. As Nightfall, he's trying to draw their attention away from the Ancient. Can he do so successfully? Yatoro's committing. They want to just close it. They're looking for the game. They're looking for the objective. They'll get it. GG is called. As Spirit will get the Game 1 victory here against VP.
That was a beautiful game. I think the part of the game where you saw both teams standing off, not really being willing to run into each other's vision, that was probably my favorite. You saw a lot of high-level decision-making where both teams recognize that, you know what, we're stronger if we're fighting on our own vision. And VP...
What we want is for VP to be the one to set the tempo this game if they want to come out ahead. But they've got a good setup for them.
Last game I said that GPK has a huge burden. I believe it's Toronto Tokyo this time around to carry it out.
All right, well, we are going to witness it. It should be an exciting series, exciting game rather, regardless of who will take it. But we will find out who will take it together with ODPixel and Insania.
Thank you very much, Shiva. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, game 2 coming up now between VP and Spirit. I'm ODPixel with my main man, Insania. Insania, what are you excited to see? I'm seeing a Viper. Not a hero we get to see a lot, but it is one of GPK's hottest back in the day. This was a hero you would never let the man have.
No, absolutely. And I think this is their idea to deal with the Tidehunter. I think if they probably felt like the Tidehunter was problematic for a certain part of the game, and they couldn't fight into him, and now they're trying to solve it with the Viper. But I feel like generally when you do this, you want to have some sort of stun to keep him inside of the Nether Toxin. And when I look at their draft, I don't really see a lot of it. There's a Stomp from ET, there's a roll through from Pango, and then there's Fiend's Grip from Bane. So I think that's going to be a challenge for them, at least in the early game.
And sort of overall, looking at the carries, you feel Terrorblade, good game for it?
I mean, it's a great game for TB. The only fear for him really is that Elder Titan. But I saw this earlier actually in the tournament where VP played his Bane against ET, and it was Save playing it that time as well. And he kept finding it. He kept being able to click that Fiend's Grip on top of the TB. And that was also against the Tidehunter, I want to say. So it's a pretty similar situation. So I think VP probably think this Bane is quite strong into this specific matchup, even though I would imagine TB has the edge.
Oh, he's definitely seen some fantastic Bane plays. I mean, Save in himself has had some excellent games, turning fights around and starting them off. You know, one of the more aggressive supports it seemed here on the main stage. He's always ready to just jump head first into 5. We're going to see quite a clash here, but it looks like at least the attempts of both teams. It's really eyeing each other up around this fight, around the early vision control on this mid. Now they're back off here for the bounty runes. And we'll see what sort of lane matchups we got. Of course, last game, we did see some early mix-ups in the lanes for both teams trying to find that favourable start.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Eastern Europe, laning phase is really, really important to all 10 of these players in this lobby. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of mix-up again, but I think the standard lanes should be expected here. It's most likely going to be the Pangolier together with the Bane going up against the Wisp and the Terrorblade on the safe lane.
And how well does the Io and the Terrorblade deal with that pressure?
I mean, I think generally speaking, when you play Wisp, you want to play against lanes that are trying to harass you out of the lane, and that does fit like Pango's concept. Pango's very rarely a hero that tries to kill you from full to nothing, so I think they should manage to do fine. However, the Bane is like the X factor here, because Save trades extremely well into both these two heroes, so when the meta's down, I think they might have a hard time getting all of the CS, but how you manipulate that with the pull and stuff is going to be interesting to see.
We'll see how much Yutora can find out early on in the lane. Looking at the other lanes, the mid lane matchup, Viper, Lesh, early levels, how does this look?
I think it's a pretty rough lane for the Leshrac. He's going to have to use a lot of mana, as you're seeing, to just try to secure some CS, but he saved up gold for his bottle, so he's going to try to play that regen game where he's just using mana to get a lot of creeps, trying to get as much as possible out of the lane, and then have the water runes refill it. And if somebody happens to die in the top lane, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Mira TP mid and refill that bottle, or see Miposhka do the same thing. So that bottle's going to be crucial for Toronto Tokyo.
I mean, are we going to get someone dying first? What in that top lane is that where you sort of see the most brawling in this early laning stage?
I mean, here in the top lane, you have Elder Titan and Ursa. This is more of like a kill setup. So I think once they hit level 3, that's a pretty big power spike for the Elder Titan. I'm sure Fogg has talked a ton about this hero.
Oh, he loves it.
But level 3, that's really when you start trucking in damage. And then Ursa's online too, right? You have both the slow, you have the Fury Swipe. So a lot of tools to get kills up here once the levels come online.
So far, on the early CS, nobody falling too far behind really. DM just having to slow out the starts, but we saw the same thing really happen last game.
Yeah, and Toronto Tokyo got the bottle. He's just bottling up. You notice he's doing very, very even with the Viper, and this is just a result of getting that bottle so early. Rune control is going to be really important too, I think. This bottle for me is like so crucial, because if the Viper is able to dumpster this mid lane, that's going to lead to GPK having a huge timing in this game and VP able to control the pace. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see supports helping out with the 4-minute runes and the 6-minute runes.
And what sort of is the aim here for GPK's Viper this game? Is he going to build to control? Are we getting an Atos, or is he going to tank up so he can join these early fights and enable the Ursa?
So I think traditionally the way GPK likes to play Viper is he goes Boots of Travel, and then he kind of decides where he goes with it. I wouldn't be surprised to see Atos, because like we said, I think this is an answer to the Tidehunter. They want to use that Nether Toxin to shut the Tidehunter down, and they don't really have the lockdown to keep him in the Nether Toxin, so the Atos is probably going to be nice. Later into the game, you're going to have Ursa build a Basher, and then they'll have the lockdown as the game progresses and they hit item timings.
And talking about the Ursa for Nightfall, this game, how do the timings sort of pair up in the way that VP are going to want to play the game around their Ursa carry, and Spirit are going to want to around their Terrorblade?
I'm expecting Nightfall to, Roshan's going to be obviously like a point of contention, and if the Ursa can get that Aegis early on, some sort of Diffusal build, Phase Boots, playing fast, I wouldn't expect some sort of Battle Fury, but it is possible. But I think they have enough AoE from the Pangolier and the Viper, so I think for VP you're looking at trying to hit that Atos on Viper, you want to get the Diffusal on Ursa, and then you want to just go, go, go.
Sure. I mean, because this Pango, DM, he's going to be quite the nightmare in the fights when he gets that Rolling Thunder off, right? Nothing to stop him at all once he's in the ult.
Yeah, absolutely, as they're applying pressure to Yatora, but, you know, Wisp uses a healing salve, gets him back up to full HP. But yeah, like you said, once he starts rolling up, you know, it's hard for you to play Shadow Shaman because you need to stand in place and try to grip someone. Or Tidehunter generally wants to use Ravage to blow everything away from him, but once Pango's in that role, you're not really touching him. So it's a really, really good Pango game. He doesn't need to be afraid of Leshrac. All he really needs to make sure that he does is get on top of the Terrorblade.
Oh, we're going to see straight up TP from Toronto Tokyo. We'll reset back in the base.
Yeah,
absolutely necessary there with the setup that was made by Save.
And this is what we were talking about, right? The room control. It's really important to make sure that this Leshrac can abuse the bottle to just keep getting creep kills. Because right now he's sitting at 20 CS.
He's doing great, right?
Yeah, even with a Viper.
Not an easy lane, but Toronto Tokyo trading farm quite nicely.
Yeah.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Up top, you see, so one of the interesting things about running Tidehunter against ET is you get this minus armor from the Gush and the Slow, which allows you to fight back when he runs in with the Spirit. And you can look at Mira's skill build as well. He has 2 points leveled up in his Ether Shock. They're looking to just fight the Elder Titan when he runs in, so it's a tough lane for ET, but the nice thing about it is that you take a lot of attention, and that allows Nightfall to get a lot of creeps. So even though you don't have a great lane as ET nowadays, you almost always will take enough attention to let your carry get a lot of farm.
Well, it's certainly been the case here. Only a few CS right now between the farm of Nightfall and, of course, Yatora there on the opposite side of things down bottom. So it certainly seems that, you know, having the presence of the IO has been enough for Yatora to be able to survive through most of the aggression. We are going to see a bit of an attempt onto Yatora down here, but quickly with the tether, Maposhka giving him the ability to turn things around. Safe will pop the Fairy Fire. Are they going to have quite enough to take down the Bane? They won't. Save's able to get out of reach of the Terrorblade. DM a little short there on the swashbuckle. That's going to cost him his life. Opts to sort of stay close rather than go for the full distance on the swashbuckle, and Yatora, of course, with a point and out reflection, he's immediately able to punish that.
Yeah, great play from from Team Spirit there. And a bottle just came out on the courier for Pangolier, but it's smart enough, drops it off onto Save. So Save now has an empty bottle that'll get refilled from Pango. So all in all, they still get both heroes back to full HP. They were so low that they would probably have to go back to base otherwise. So it doesn't hurt too bad, but of course you never want to give a first blood away to Terrorblade.
One thing that's so definitely stands out to me this game when you look at both drafts is, you know, VP, whilst they've got the killers and the fighters, they don't really have the tower push right. They're going to have to get a lot of blood spill to actually get the room to push down objectives. Whereas meanwhile on Spirit, they will lose collapse top, but when Spirit group up, towers will just crumble to this Leshrac and Terrorblade, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And generally speaking, when you play really long cooldown drafts, you will see teams want to have tower damage, as Yatora is going to get caught here by the Haste Viper.
See if he's got any way out. There's a lot of damage for GPK. There's no way for Yatora to run away from this. Maposhka as well will also die. Tries to get the courier on the way out, but he won't have enough damage to do so. Very hard-hitting move there from GPK down on the bottom lane.
Yeah, and this is just the importance of rune control, right? Because the Leshrac got zoned out of the lane early on, he's no longer able to contest these runes, and he's forced to play in the jungle. And when you play in the jungle, you're low on mana, so you can't fight runes. And that gets him a kill on TB, but Toronto Tokyo's finished up Arcane Boots, and he's eyeing up his own move here in the top lane now.
TP up from Maposhka as well. Got the quick refill here on the bottle, and see what they can do about this tower. See if VP are going to put any effort into trying to hold this off.
So this is one of the times when you really want to have tower push in your team, so you can rotate the Ursa down to the bottom lane, or some sort of hero down to the bottom lane and apply tower damage. But VP just straight up can't. So this is something that they will suffer to in the game. If they don't feel strong enough to fight back, Team Spirit can easily just run over towers.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yeah, they're getting the seal one for sure. Nice turn up here from VP. They're focusing elsewhere. Save, trying to keep Yatora on edge as he comes deep into the jungle.
He's being so obnoxious. He's just forcing Yatora to run away. He just wishes he could sit here and farm for free, but he's killing off those illusions. This is something I think a lot of people don't do enough of. And this forces Mira to come down bottom.
Well, they should have a pretty good shot against Save here. He'll try and turn with the Nightmare. Instantly able to take it off with the illusion there, Yatora. There's a couple more hits. He'll find them. So Save finally put to an end. Well, CTM looks to go in with a Rolling Thunder, but Team Spirit, they're already back underneath the tower. Nothing is going to be found with this Pango ult.
Yeah, the ward here on the high ground. just allowing them to see the Pango rotate over, and he's easily able to dodge it out. Yeah, it seems like GPK decided to go a different route. No ATOS. He's going treads into Dragonlance, so looking more at trying to deal some damage in these team fights. I'm not sure if I personally like it the most. I think when you play this Viper as an answer to Tide, you really need to make sure that you can either burst him on the Nether Toxin, and in order to do that, I think you need to have at least one stun. And I just don't think they really have that lockdown. I would have loved to see that ATOS.
What sort of advantage does the Dragonlance have from this game? I mean, what does it say to you when he does go for this to start his build?
So I think probably what he's thinking is we need a way to kill the Leshrac. We've seen the Chinese teams run Lina a lot against Lesh as an answer because you have that long range and you buy an early BKB and you just sit that from behind and just keep hitting him. So probably GPK's plan here is to buy the Dragonlance, sit back really far, and try to hit down the Lesh as he tries to charge straight in. So it makes sense, but I think the Tide just might be too big of a problem, but we'll see.
I mean, Collapse last game did have quite the impact. And we'll manage to catch him on his own. He is rather tanky. They should get the job done here as long as Collapse does live. He does still end up eventually going down.
Yeah, and Team Spirit immediately on the response, right? Toronto Tokyo runs up the mid lane, pressures that tower. As soon as VP makes a move, he's been in the right place to apply tower damage, and this is really good by them because they keep forcing the VP heroes around.
Another quick grab onto save.
Yeah, the 3-man of Team Spirit are doing a great job. The 2 supports together with Toronto Tokyo just running around applying pressure, and if he gets a rune here, that should lead into a play. Luckily, GPK gets it, so Invis rune. Now this puts the pressure on the Tide again. He's probably pretty scared. They know that there's a bottom rune spawn since Toronto Tokyo didn't get a top. And we'll see if they might try to fight back with the Ravage here. Depending on if Collapse leaves the lane or if he stays here, that should be a pretty clear indicator to whether Team Spirit wants to fight or not.
And how strong of a timing is it going to be this game for Nightfall with the Diffusal? Is it as simple as Diffusal's picked up, he can join the fights, or is he going to have to play on and farm for the BKB before he really gets stuck in with the team?
I think most likely with the Diffusal they'll try to take some sort of engagement. It's a strong timing as Tide Hunter gets caught now. But you see, they can't stun him on top of the Nether Toxin.
Yeah, he's straight out of the Nether Toxin, and now there's been a chance for the response to come in from Spirit. Toronto Tokyo's been brought in, but the damage is actually too much here. As Spirit, they try and take this fight, but that's going to be 1, that's going to be 2 going down. As maybe just overestimating their capability to get kills with the damage of the Leshrac. We see Lesh just getting destroyed on the front of the action.
I think they need the Ravage to go off, right? Once the Ravage goes off, you're going to see the Leshrac drop a stun, and then GPK can't pump damage into him. If they are able to have GPK stand back and deal damage, then, you know, any hero other than Tide is just going to melt to him. So for that reason, you know, Dragonlance does actually make a lot of sense to me now when I see it play out. So up until this Blink Dagger on Tide, if he decides to go for it, it should be a pretty smart item choice, actually, by GPK.
And we're definitely seeing this game in comparison to the first one. VP, they seem a little more active in terms of just making sure that the Collapse, he's just not getting the space that he did in game 1, right? This is going to be a much slower beginning for a Tide that had such a long time to ramp his game up in the first match of the series.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really do think like Collapse comes in at a really clutch timing for their team. Up until the time that he gets his blink, you rarely see Team Spirit kind of group up. And in game 1, you had Yatoro playing a more active hero as he's caught here at the top lane.
He is. Huge. He has got us under if he gets out, but there's nothing to stop the grip here. Mira was trying to find save. Nightfall, he's already out through the tree line. He's going to be fine. They'll turn for save. Should get the Bane. But of course, the bigger loss being theirs. Yatoro taking down VP at the same time. DM applying pressure on the mid. Toronto Tokyo not able to find the lead in.
Yeah, just I think this is something VP does really well here. They learned, you know, the last game we had kind of roles reversed, where it was Team Spirit applying the pressure to VP, and now VP's in the commanding position of, you know, we need to make the moves. We need to be the ones taking space. And we mentioned the heroes don't really have tower damage. DM's right on top of the mid tower. As soon as a play happens somewhere else on the map, he's in the tower space, making sure that he forces reactions and just gets that chip damage that is really important for them.
Top set up from Mira. He's got the grab, the opening. TPs are coming in to try and back up Nightfall. Can they burst Nightfall in time? Nightfall, he's got no ult for 20 seconds and no chance to survive.
Great setup by Mira. They're going to relocate back out. You see the positioning that VP has on the map right now, there's one core on every lane. They're just trying to farm up as much as possible and control map space. And this forces a lot of the Team Spirit heroes into the triangle here. So they don't really have anywhere to farm. Even though they have heroes that farm faster than the VP heroes, If the game stays static like this, VP is going to be heavily outfarming them just because there simply aren't enough camps. And Team Spirit recognized that and decided to smoke up right away. Yo's finished on Toronto Tokyo too, so now he can finally make his own initiations. Doesn't need to wait for the Ravage to come out.
I mean, they're making a run straight towards GPK, but GPK is aware.
Yeah, and he has that illusion rune bottled up, so that can be used to disjoint the Leshrac stun out of Yules if he times it perfectly.
They still want to get something here, Spirit. Kingslayer, he's going to walk into the action, but GPK is around to try and help them fight. A Hex out, good ward drop as well, though. Mira just lays down the Serpent wards, and GPK, he'll quickly follow after the death of Kingslayer. I mean, I guess they felt that they could get a kill whilst the Elder Time was being focused. I mean, it seemed a little bit of wishful thinking there from GPK on trying to turn that play around.
I mean, Mira's been playing a really sneaky game if you think about it. You expect the Wisp and Leshrac to play together, and normally when Wisp and Lesh show on one side of the map, you expect the team to be on the opposite because they're relocate threat, right? You want to put your stuns on the other side of the map so you can relocate over and get pickoffs, but Mira's next leveling it. He knows that VP is going to assume that, so he's running with the Wisp and the Leshrac, and I don't think GPK expected him to be on that side of the map, simply put.
Oh, absolutely. Not at all, it seems. DM is ready to go. In with the blink. Good setup and a good angle here, catching them close to the stairs. The Sleeper's well allowing for a further bounce back and a third into the splitter. Perfect showing there from DM, jumping in with his blink pickup. And this time it was Spirit that weren't prepared for the moves of VP. Mirror as well, also to go down. DM leads the way, and they couldn't have set it up any better there. Nightfall picking up every single one of those kills.
Yeah, and now they're definitely going to be eyeing up Roche. There is a Ravage ready for Team Spirit, so they might try to set up the defense in time. I think they're going to have time to TP in their heroes if they run straight away, but
That's going to go down
like
quick.
they're moving. Yeah, it's going down really quick.
Much of the timing, VP playing for. See Nightfall even eyeing up getting the blink first before the BKB after the defusal. Got a huge cash burst after that. Those last 3 kills, of course, and now here we go. Aegis ready to roll. Level 12 as well. VP, we could definitely see them step things up and get even more aggressive now with this timing that they hit.
Yeah, Pangolier roll up in 20 seconds. This is going to be their cue to try to set up a fight. I think probably going to eye up the middle lane tower. Some sort of smoke wraparound is most likely what's going to happen next. As you see, this is something I think is really interesting, because normally we don't really think of Bane as a hero that farms, right? But VP have done this multiple times where they set him up to farm in a side lane. Stun slightly off the mark. But yeah, they will farm up this Bane. They recognize how strong of an item this Aghanim Scepter is for the Bane. And I was talking to AOI about it as well. Like, we don't really think there's any Ags that changes the hero as fundamentally as the Bane Ags does. It's just impossible to stop that Fiend's Grip when he has the 2 illusions up.
That makes it very hard to play into. Consider the stuns they do have at the ready. I mean, maybe if they get a good Ravage.
Sleep in the top lane. Just burning the Leshrac's mana.
Mid lane. I mean, they found Collapse again. Collapse trying to get a bit of peace here. Will be able to force over the terrain to try and get up to the triangle. Mirror locking back Nightfall with the Hex. Collapse. He's looking to turn with the Gush. They're bringing in the backup. Miposhka's brought Toronto Tokyo in with the ult. It's already out for Nightfall. Turns over towards Collapse after tying up to going down. Miposhka torn apart by the claws of the bear. Nightfall, he's not done yet either. Over to Viper. Now towards Yatoro in the stop. Allowing Phoebe to set up around. The grip's in. They've caught Yatoro. They may have lost Nightfall the once. But Yatoro, he's dropping low. Stick, Sunder, back up to a decent amount of HP, but Nightfall's back up. Second life from ready to roll. The Hex momentarily holding back the bear, but Kingslayer and the rest of VP just smashed down the Terrorblade.
A beautiful play from VP there. During all of this, the reason that relocate comes in so late is because the Leshrac slept. They can't relocate in the slept Leshrac, so just beautiful map coordination there from VP and communication. You know, Save runs up top, sleeps Leshrac, they take a fight in the middle lane. Just the understanding of the macro game from VP to play this aggressive is beautiful to watch.
Yeah, excellent usage here at the first Aegis. We'll see it once more how the fight starts. Again, the real big difference between this game and the last one seems, VP much more aggressive and so much attention on Collapse, making sure that Collapse is tied. It's just left completely behind this game.
Yeah, and this was a beautiful usage of the Yules. When I saw this, I was like, oh my god, the Viper might actually go down, but he's able to stand his ground and deal just enough damage for Nightfall to clean up the fight. And he's taking so much attention on GPK that, Nightfall just runs around freely and does whatever he wants.
We see it towards the end. Nice little attempt, but again, sort of just the Bane play from Save, forcing Yatora to stick around and fight that little bit longer than he can deal with.
Yeah, just a great team fight coming out from VP, and they're continuing to apply pressure here in the bottom lane though. Team Spirit have smoked up with Mira and Yatora, and they're looking for some sort of pickoff, but it doesn't really look like it's going to happen. Nightfall sniffs it out. The next big timing coming up is probably the Ursa BKB. That's when you'll see VP probably try to group up and keep applying the pressure. But a very similar story to last game, right? If VP ever takes their foot off the gas, then the scaling of Team Spirit's going to be amazing. And once they start finishing up these items that allow them to survive, like the BKB on the Leshrac and the Eye of Skadi on Yatoro, it gets a lot harder.
Bottom lane, DM is in the back of Nightfall as Team Spirit did try and set up here. Onto the Ursa. See if DM's able to roll his way back out to safety as he is on his own. DM, got the swashbuckle off, stun still hits, and in fact, they're taking them out of there. They don't want to stick around. They know that the rest of VP's making their way over.
Look top though.
Can they
GPK
catch
set up.
GPK? He's got the BKB and a TP at the ready. He'll pop it. Not taking any chances here, GPK. He knows that they're all coming over. And
Nope.
VP, they make it away.
Yeah, Save's in trouble. Mira's going to catch him here. There's just so much going on the map. There's like a very intelligent macro game being played. Nightfall stuff.
I mean, Mira, he's dead. Nightfall, able to clean him up. Again, just picking apart Spirit. Sort of in the same fashion that Spirit were going for them last game. They have really just stepped up the tempo. Now they sort of looked at the first game, said, all right, this is how you want to play. We can do that too.
Yeah, I think their big difference, like in the T1 Vici series, you saw two teams that they would rather the other team come to them. But in this series, it's kind of like the other way around. Whoever decides to make the first move seems to have an advantage.
I mean, it just seems so hard for Collapse to have a game. Still very much trying to play the catch-up, but he is far behind on the farm.
Forced off buy is just very smart, right? Just gets you straight out of that another toxin. I just don't really feel like this Viper as an answer to Tidehunter seems to be working. There's just too many ways to get him out of the another toxin.
I mean, and does that sort of concern you in the sort of the regards to the game going on? Like at the moment, obviously VP, they have a lead, but do you feel that this Viper could become a bit redundant in the later stages if Team Spirit's able to hold on?
I mean, I feel like it explains why he decided to go for this item route at least, and not the route of Atos. Because if, let's say he went the Atos, right, Tidehunter would just buy a Force Staff and force himself out of it. So GPK clearly knows something that you and I don't.
Yeah.
And so it's an intelligent item purchase to go for this like Dragonlance BKB build and aim to try to shut down the Leshrac instead of the Tide. They have the Ursa, right? He's going to eventually hopefully buy an Aghanims, and then he can just ignore the Ravage. He gets Ravage, pops his ulti, and he's completely fine.
Yeah, Nightfall certainly on track to hitting great timings this game. See, they've got their eyes down bottom, ready to set up onto Toronto. DM, he's got the lead in, up with the ult, the bounce back into the Fiend's grip. You see an attempt to take him out there, Miposhka, but he can't get him out in time. Top lane, GPK also starting up some further action for VP. As Mira getting a little too close to the Viper. Should die, tries to hide in the trees, but GPK has got his eyes on them. Mira will fall.
Yeah, and middle lane collapse has been caught out too. There's just so much going on at once from VP.
I mean, yeah, it's just falling apart really for Spirit. Godlike on the Ursa. Spirit, they may only be 5k down, but as I say, it's just a complete mirror of the state of the game we had in the last one about 22 minutes in. This time round, VP just ruling the map, and Spirit getting very little chances to really climb their course back into this. The team fights, they're not going to get any easier, it seems, because VP, they're at a stage now where they can just get in, BKB and Diffusal, they can pretty much delete whoever they want to start things off. This Lesh is very vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, you know, you want that BKB finish on Leshrac. He would have wished he was eyeing up Shiva's guard at this point, but it's just not looking like it, as he's been caught once again in the middle lane.
So if they want to dive in, though, they don't quite have the Thunder up from DM.
Radiant's top tower
Yeah,
is
he's
under
eyeing up
attack.
the Shard as well, so he's going for that full stun build, just going to try to roll on top of someone, Yule himself. Once he comes down, you know, you use that Shard to turn your roll around, stun them again, and just keep permanently silencing these heroes. Or
That's solid. I feel like we see this a lot from VP as well. Sometimes you look at the drafts and you're like, well, there's not enough lockdown, but DM on his Shaker or on something like the Pango when he itemizes like this, you sort of come to the realization that it just doesn't matter because of how much DM can control the fight.
Yeah, and the itemization for it is perfect, right? They're making sure that they're buying the correct items to make up for whatever weaknesses their draft has.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, they know Collapse is
Collapse. They're not going to keep looking despite some of the trees being cut.
So if you haven't been there with your hero physically, you can't actually see that the trees have been cut sometimes. We can see it as spectators, but the players in the game won't actually see it until they walk straight next to the tree. So they probably don't know that Collapse is there. Sneaky play with the Force Staff there, getting him out of trouble.
We'll see if he wants to show himself to clear out a few more waves. Still 10 seconds on the TP, so he's stuck there momentarily. Back in action, Yatoro. 1,000 gold off his Skadi.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge timing for them. And really, the next big objective here is Roshan. So he's guaranteed going to spawn in about a minute. The teams obviously don't know this, but you're going to notice that both teams are going to start posing themselves around the Roche pit because they want to have vision control there. And we know around 20 minutes in the last game, it was a very similar story where both teams are willing to fight so long as it's under their vision. And it's the exact same thing here. So whoever can control the vision around the Roche pit has an edge leading into this team fight.
A very similar story again with the carries. But once more, Yatoro, Nightfall just on the exact same page when it comes to farm, both fighting for that top net worth here. Of course, Yatoro more focused on the creep hitting, and Nightfall, he's been punching the heroes. 11 kills so far here on the bear. And for that Basher next.
Yep, Save's buying a Force Staff, and I believe so is Kingslayer, so they're recognizing that, you know what, they might need to kite out these cooldowns. Once the meta is popped, will have 2 Force Staffs to pull their heroes back and just wait out these cooldowns if they need to. And the same thing for the Leshrac BKB, right? If they don't feel like they can fight into it, they have the tools to decide, you know what, this fight's not good, we're gonna pull out, they've committed meta, and then refight again in about 60 seconds.
Nice Roshan, it's all theirs. No doubt about it. Matter of seconds and Nightfall will be able to finish this one, and they're coming out with the smoke from the bottom half of the map, but it's going to be into an Aegis Ursa. So unless they find a real quick pick to start the fight off with, Spirit are going to have the best of times fighting into VP.
They need the Pango, and they're going to see him here if Collapse keeps running in. This is the best target for them if they can actually kill
He's so
him.
slippery though. With the Shard, the Blink, the Yules, the Thunder, there's just so much to play his way out of there. They have to get some sort of instant catch. It's really all on Mira.
Yeah.
If he's not able to find the opening, DM's going to get out every single time.
And just speaking about that opening, you see Mira is only 250 gold off of a Blink Dagger,
Yeah,
and that will allow him to make that first jump, which is going to be really important for both teams here.
Absolutely, until that's there, they're not going to be able to start off the fights with this Pango dying.
Yeah, GPK is also closing up on finishing Skadi. This will make it very hard for the Leshrac to just keep running in, right? You're going to get slowed down by the Viper during your BKB, and then once your BKB is out, you're absolutely not moving.
Yeah, and he's going to be a beast. Really itemizing up to be the second carry, really, for the team. You know, you're going to have an Ursa in your face, you'll have this Viper off in the distance, just spewing the poison and toxins all over you. It's not a fun fight for whoever starts off on the front from Spirit.
Yeah, absolutely not. I wouldn't want to be a Spirit frontliner playing against these heroes.
I mean, what is the game plan for Spirit now? They must be realizing that they're, every minute they are losing more and more control of the map to VP. Where do you look for the comeback from here for Spirit?
I think it's a similar story to last game where you need to fight on vision so that you can find the correct targets. The whole purpose of fighting on wards is so you can see the backliners of Virtus Pro and you can catch them before they get their spells off. If they're able to initiate on Viper and he can't BKB and he goes down, that's a huge catch for them. Same thing with the Pangolier, even the Bane, ET, like all these heroes, pretty much anyone except for Ursa is a good initiation for Team Spirit if they can find it. So just look for the wards, look at the minimap wards, and that's the areas that the teams want to fight in. For VP, you have the top area, and for Team Spirit, you have the bottom area where they want to fight. And this is something Spirit does a lot. I've noticed they do this in a lot of their games, where when they're behind, they'll take over the enemy triangle and ward up the entrances. And then if the enemy team approaches, they're willing to take that fight.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Still a good few minutes on the Aegis VP.
Yeah, they're looking to hunt now. So now the way that you want to approach this game as VP is you want to try to move around the map and force Team Spirit to TP away from it, set up vision on lanes, or set up vision on camps where you know the heroes are isolated when they're farming. And then once you have forced the heroes into their base, then you can start forcing them into a team fight. And you see here, Mira's going to TP out, and now VP feel like they've gained control of the bottom side of the map, and immediately they're going to move over the heroes to top. Nightfall TPs into the tier 2 top tower, and now he's going to be on the hunt. He sees the TB on the Ancients. Scandal coming out from Team Spirit. So this is some very high level plays coming out. Both teams are reading the map very, very well, and they're scouting each other out. And now if you look at the map again, you see a lot of the Team Spirit heroes are bottling into the bottom side of the map, and Save is going to be in position to catch them.
Oh, grip as well onto Toronto Tokyo. GPK is in with the damage. They need backup. They need it now. Toronto Tokyo, how to put the BKB to get out of here. Mira, he'll be the new focus as GPK turns over towards the Shaman to fall. The Spirit, they've got to run. Nightfall just charging at them here. Right up to the tier 3. Spirit being forced back up to the high ground of their base.
That's just really intelligent macro gameplay from VP. How they move their individual pieces around the map to force the Team Spirit heroes into their base and then find a favorable fight. Now you're going to expect to see them just constantly chasing after them. They get the bottom tower, they know that there are no heroes from Team Spirit bottom, so now expect them to start moving towards the top side.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
See what they can catch in next. See Spirit constantly numbing Poshka +1, normally Toronto Tokyo. Just trying to play their best out on the other side of the map, pushing those waves out.
Yep. You notice, VP, they're not leaving Team Spirit's side.
No.
They're just making sure that Team Spirit cannot get out of their base. They understand that maybe some heroes farming their side of the jungle, as you can see with the pings, but they're making sure that the important one, Terrorblade, he's stuck. He's not getting out.
Oh, they're in. Well, they want to at least Nightfall. Just jumping up to the high ground here. 20 seconds on that Aegis. Just went for the play to see if he could get something done before it expires. Won't be the case. Spirit playing extremely cautious right now.
Yeah, and we see a really intelligent ward placed deep in the VP jungle on the top side from Naposhka. So they're able to farm on Toronto Tokyo and him while they're being contained. This is really smart plays coming out from Team Spirit.
Absolutely.
Doing everything they can while they're behind.
They've managed to sort of slow the bleeding here. Get things done. That's the power of the IO, allowing Toronto Tokyo to play and farm in such positions.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're always ready to team fight in. You have that relocate to bring you back if needed. And they're getting good vision out. This is a really smart play from Team Spirit. And I think VP recognized it, and that's why he saw all their heroes move into the top side of the jungle to try to take control back. And they find that ward. It's a huge D ward by Kingslayer. Game state's kind of slowed down, and it's just both teams, they're waiting for that right fight. They know that they can't be impatient and just run into the enemy team in a bad fashion where they will throw the fight away. Just making sure that, they're fighting in areas where the enemy team will not have wards.
Let's see to the mid here. Both teams opposite side of the lane, waiting for one another to show. Nightfall will step up. Finding under the tier 2, it's probably going to be too much of an ordeal here though for Spirit.
There are pings about smoke wraparounds, and here we go. VP smokes up.
Okay, they're gonna try.
So now here's the question: which angle is Team Spirit not covering, and are they gonna find it?
The collapse is watching with the high ground. Toronto Tokyo is actually gonna blink in straight away into the river. Gets the stun on the other side. Collapses in with the Ravages. Caught the 3 of them. It's gonna be Kingslayer going down. Immediate buyback. They'll tell Yutori BK's people the feast there will get cancelled for now. Mira taken out here. As they'll try and go for more GPKs onto collapse. Forcing the tide away, TP out, safe, he's able to get in, Nightmare! Puts a stop to the TP, collapse, trying to hide in the trees. Oh, he's actually going to be able to make it out with a blink! They're going to still try and chase their VP. They have seen him in the trees here with the Spirit out. Kingslayer will spot him out. GPK takes him down.
Bottom, Toronto Tokyo also taken out by Nightfall. Great read on the map, recognizing that he's there. So now Metamorphosis has been used, Ravage has been used. Virtus Pro's draft basically doesn't have any cooldowns, right? So once DM is back alive, they're most likely going to look to continue the hunt and make sure that you don't allow Team Spirit to farm. Because as long as Team Spirit are farming with these illusions and stuff, you notice the gold lead isn't really increasing. It's just staying at 8,000 gold. It's a battle of who can take over map control. And that's what these fights are really all about. It's not about the kills, it's about who gets map control in the end.
Obviously, it was a solid start with a Ravage, but Yutoro, he just couldn't get the damage out to start things off.
Yeah, they really need the Terrorblade to be outputting damage, and the Leshrac had blinked in and just immediately been forced to reset out, so there was really no good follow-up on the Ravage, but they get that fight with Terrorblade on top of the Ursa, or Leshrac on top of him, it's going to look very different. But what an amazing blink out from Collapse, right? Unfortunately, he gets found out in the end, but still a really cool play.
Still about 50 seconds until we get close to the next Roche potential for VP. Naposhka against the pressure. We'll pick up a jab. Try and regain a bit of this map control against VP's pretty much complete hold. Making it very difficult indeed for Spirit to step out. We've seen it's really Naposhka +1 being able to play the opposite side of the map right now whilst the vision is as low as it is. They can't really get the rest of the team out.
Yeah, and again you see, once Roshan's starting to spawn, VP move their heroes towards the Roche pit, try to control up that triangle, and they set up their vision here, knowing that, you know what? If you want to fight us as Team Spirit, you're fighting under our wards, you're fighting under our conditions. And this is just exactly how you're supposed to play when you're playing from ahead. Roche is up, early spawn.
A DD rune as well outside of the pit. It's going to be a quick one.
Spirit though, they're smoked up. They're looking to take the fight. Terrorblade meta's up, Ravage is back up.
Radiant's top tower.
And initiation's everything here.
They've got to get it so quick, but this DD is falling so fast. Spirit, they'll start things off with finding Save. Not a bad way to begin the action. Bane's gone. Save has the buyback if he wants to pop it. Toronto Tokyo has been caught out there by DM. PKB and Yules up into the air. Collapse. He's never going to get the Aegis. He gets the cheese as well. Collapse. Just walks in. Cheese. It's actually been left behind. He doesn't even want it. He starts to back away. Yatura gets fully focused by Nightfall. I mean, Collapse may have got the Aegis, but they've lost their carry. They'll lose Collapse. They're almost certainly going to lose him again here off the respawn by Warblink. He's not making it away with that TP. Basher from Nightfall kicks in. He will go down. Cheese is still there, but he gets it. He takes the Aegis. Who got the Aghanims out of that?
I believe the Ursa got the Ag.
He did.
He did get the Ags, yes. But yeah, is she still in the pit? Yeah,
Still in the pit. I mean, I feel like it wouldn't be a TI with a game where, without a game where there's been something left inside there, and this time it's the cheese once again.
Yep, it has a tendency to be the cheese, right?
It does.
Cheese is the item that people leave behind the most. But a great opportunity now for VP to go high ground.
Oh,
There's
absolutely.
no Ravage, and there's no meta. And could you ask for a more timely bash than the one that Nightfall got? Right as the TV wants to look for that Sunder opportunity, bash.
Yeah, Utoro's just had such a hard time trying to get a fight going. It's just so much controlling him, even with the BKB. Bashes, grips. It's not an easy game for this Terrorblade to play whilst he's as behind as he is now. Now, 18k lead overall for VP. That was a very costly team fight loss for Spirit. They can't afford to lose another like that, otherwise this game's done for.
Yeah, absolutely. But you do notice VP do have some problems with their draft fight. They can't break that high ground. And you touched on the early game. There isn't really tower push here. So VP are going to need Team Spirit to come out of their base in order to be able to get this high ground push. So what you'll see VP do here is they're going to split up, try to farm up as many resources as they can, and Team Spirit, knowing that, at some point will feel like, okay, we're falling way too far behind, and force them to come out of the base. But not having Aegis basically bought them 10 minutes. They gave up a fight,
Okay.
but they bought themselves about 10 minutes of like being contained in their base. So it's always something.
I mean, and honestly, I feel that comeback potential can absolutely be there. You know, Collapse on the tide. I feel like we've seen so many times. If he can get that refresher, the double Ravage, yeah, that can make wonders happen in these team fights. Bottom though, outside of the base, Mira run down by DM. And Poshka was able to make it out with the tether TP. Good job he did go for the tether before TPing out. But now has left Toronto Tokyo on his own.
This is huge. I saw something really, really interesting. If you guys click the inventory of Kingslayer, he has 4 healing salves that he sent out. They're recognizing that, you know what, if we want to go high ground, it's going to be a slow push, and we're going to need resources to deal with a poke. So sends out 4 salves for his teammates. Great
I mean, he's been digging them up as well.
Well, that's true.
This man keeping the shovel out.
He's been keeping the shovel. That probably is how he got the salves. Makes a lot of sense, Owen. Thanks.
He's digging them up nicely. There's another one. 5 salves. He's finding all the heals, but as you say, definitely going to be able to put use to them if VP want to keep knocking at the door of Spirit. As slow and, you know, as it will be, it will take time. Maybe, you know, GPK is able to pick up the shard eventually. I'll give them a little bit extra to take those buildings down.
Yeah, absolutely. But you see, VP, they're not too concerned, right? They understand that right now Team Spirit are not gaining any resources. We finally have what we wanted. For the last 37 minutes, this is what they've been fighting for. They've been trying to force Team Spirit back into their base to allow them to just farm all the resources on the map and get as ahead as they can.
I mean, Nightfall's just absolutely massive. Nearly level 25. Has the full Satanic done. Akshard, he is ready to end this.
Yeah, I think the second Spirit steps out, they're going to pounce. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them happy just farming out until Roshan comes otherwise. VP's going to set their map up here with, like, I think Save is going to play close to whatever hero's playing aggressive on lanes. And then if he can find a grip on a target, that's when VP's going to really try to collapse. No pun intended.
It is a lot about the tide.
Yeah, he's eyeing up a refresher. He's about halfway there, but...
I mean, he's just had such a hard game. You know,
Yeah,
1-7-1, they have completely shut Collapse down this game.
Yeah, he's been involved in 2 kills in 38 minutes. It's not a fun game to be the Tidehunter.
Yeah, especially when you say, you know, for Spirit, a lot of their game plan does revolve around Collapse being the main playmaker.
Yeah, I really think he's like their mid-game piece. And
Yeah.
if you think about the story of this game, they didn't have a mid-game. Their mid-game was just running away from VP and trying not to give away kills.
Oh, look at that. Okay, yeah, okay, it's up to the 89. I was going to say, yeah, that 66 was earlier. So, yeah, up to 89% of the win
Mira.
probability. And also, Miposhka. Miposhka's out. Toronto Tokyo will take out Kingslayer. They get the Serpent Wards down as well. Mira with the grab onto save. As both the VP supports gone. Can they get more out of this? Yatoro is in with the Metamorphosis and the BKB. Jump for collapse has the Ravage. Nightfall knocked down. Stop from the Toronto Tokyo. Nightfall getting low. Taken down. They get the answer. A big kill here for Spirit. What more can they find? Up to the high ground. They're trying to chase GPK. But GPK's got the backup. Kingslayer fighting back in action. But Yatoro. Sunder back up to full HP. Tries for the TP out. But the damage is done. Yatoro will fall. Spirit. They lose their carry at the end of it, but not a bad hit and punch into VP there as a fair bit of damage is done.
Yeah, and they take out the important heroes, right? There's no Ursa, so there's no high ground threat. They're buying themselves more time. These fights, they're going even, but when you go even when you're behind, that's actually favoring you because you're getting more gold from the fights, the enemy team is ahead, and you're also delaying for this late game timing. So if we click on Collapse, you know, slightly closer to your
progress.
refresher.
It is progress.
Absolutely, absolutely. And look at his inventory. I think this is so cool. While he's dead, he's placed the Philosopher's Stone in his inventory. It's just all those small things add up, right? It's really, really cool to see this coming out from pro players. So while you're dead, put in the Philosopher's Stone, get that extra bit of gold.
I mean, because we already saw in that fight, despite as far down as they are, the potential when that Ravage does come into play and Yatoro is able to stand back and get the hits in.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. If they can have the Terrorblade in the right position once the Ravage goes off, it's huge. Up top,
Six up. We've got the Hex in. DM trying to cover them from the side. He's ready to go over the Rolling Thunder. GPK with the BKB turns over to Toronto Tokyo. Toronto Tokyo buys some time with the self-fuels, but he's surely going down. He's forced aside. No, Essence Ring is still alive. Stuns attentive with the Hurricane Bite. Oh, he's alive! He's alive!
What a save!
They get him out! Toronto Tokyo will survive for now! Mira goes down, but the Lesh will live to see another day here thanks to Miposhka.
What a crazy save, man. Oh, there's some really high-level Dota going on here, and it's beautiful to watch. I'm really, really enjoying this game. GPK's item build. I really did not see this playing out in the early game, right? We were talking about the Atos, but it's so smart. He has the AC,
So
he
smart.
has the Scotty. He can tank them up.
He is, yeah, 6-2-11. He's having a great time on the Viper here. We'll see this replay again. I mean, they make this, what seems to be an ambitious attempt on GPK. It doesn't end up being that bad of a try at all. And just look how low Toronto Tokyo gets. Miposhka able to switch targets here and just get him out at the final possible moments, it seems.
Oh my god.
Literally the last,
Literally
less
last
than a
moment.
second on the relocate back out. Miposhka,
What a play.
what a move.
There's so many crazy high-level plays going on, man. Every spellcaster, from the Hex on the Viper, you know, the Pango sitting behind the Viper in case he gets caught. It's just both teams are playing so well. It's a very enjoyable game to watch. And now we have tier 4 items coming out.
Oh, Timeless Relic. That's a tasty one.
Is he keeping the Essence Ring?
That Essence Ring might be a bit of a good luck charm. It did save him that last fight. He might want to hold on to it.
I think it might have been a misclick. Surely it must have been a misclick.
Yeah, he's got it back out.
There
He
we
does.
go. I think he probably a little bit too quick. I know this has happened to me
He's like,
sometimes.
sure.
Try to drag it in, send it back too
I mean,
fast.
he's a team player. You know, he picks up a nice item. He wants to make sure that everybody else gets a chance to grab it. But indeed, Timeless Relic back out on Toronto Tokyo, and that, yeah, quite the item, of course, for the Leshrac.
Yeah, absolutely. They also got a telescope. They haven't decided who to put it on yet, but Great item, adds attack range to your Terrorblade, gives you cast range on all your heroes. For a hero like Shadow Shaman, I wouldn't be too surprised to see him trade off the Psychic Headband for the Telescope, but it seems like, you know, that's not the focus right now. They're not thinking about neutral items. They just gave away Roshan.
They did. They're able to pick it all up here. And that's what it's the fourth one this game, right? Refresher Shard, Ag's Blessing both coming out of that one.
Yep.
See, Ursa well managed to get the enrage off, but now the meta's up. Yasura wants to try and fight this. The BKB shortly coming to an end for Toronto Tokyo though. He's got to start running Maposhka. He's ready to take him out again. We'll bail him out as they manage to back off there from VP, trying to run him down. Of course, off that return to the pit as well, they do now have the 2 cheeses on VP. DM's got his Kingslayer as well.
That could be huge for Kingslayer. When you're playing Elder Titan this late into the game, your biggest problem is getting on top of the Terrorblade for long enough for your natural order to deal the damage that he can, right? If they can combine, as it looks, I hear a sleep. That's just on illusions. Yeah, if they can get that natural order on top of the Terrorblade and then have the Ursa hit during that period of time, that's like if Cheese gives them 2 seconds, that's enough. That's all they will need for the natural order to deal its damage.
Yeah. And that last, the pick up the Ag's Blessing going to save as well, as you were talking about, very strong Ags. So this is going to be an excellent addition to VP's team fight here, especially with the way that Save has already been able to make those big ults happen. And, you know, Yatoro's life getting harder. He's got to keep himself completely away from this Bane, otherwise Save will look to lock him down.
Yep.
Trying to jump, but alright, GPK, he's gone in as well. Slides himself back down to the low ground with the Hurricane Pike, mirrors out. DM diving under the tier 4s with the Rolling Thunder. There's the grip. Save has the control onto Yatoro. Yatoro needs help. He needs it now. He's not going to get it. The splitter comes down. Kingslayer takes down Yatoro. No buyback on the Terrorblade. He hasn't got the dollar.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
It's a huge opening. It's beautiful. You see how fearless they are. Immediately they see Mira out of position. Go. Entire team commits to it.
Collapse.
Used.
Trying to draw their attention away from the base.
He does have a buyback, so they're just trying to buy time for the Terrorblade to spawn, but I don't know, Owen. I don't think it's going to be enough.
Oh, just so much money on GPK. GPK just rolling around with 7,500 in the bank.
Yeah.
So much money. They're going to look to try and end.
I think they recognize it, you know, the way the Tyrantro was playing, that's just not normal. If you have buyback on TV, that's not the kind of play you're going to make. And VP can read that off of the movement, and they recognize there's no buy.
What can they do without their Terrorblade? 30 seconds. Towers taken out here. Top 4. Nightfall is in on Toronto Tokyo. Goes set to Toronto Tokyo. A lift for now. Nightfall is low. They'll turn over towards Mirror, but again, just dropping these wards down. Everything they can possibly do to take VP's attention off the base.
15 seconds.
GPK committing with the BKB, but Collapse is able to slide back to the fountain.
There is a refresher shard on the Viper though, so he will have that BKB back up.
10 seconds until the Terrorblade, but VP, they're looking to end it. Refresher shard in the second round of the BKB, they've got the grab, but the Gravage comes in for Collapse. It doesn't matter with the BKB, VP can focus the Ancient and end the game. As game 2, Virtus Pro will manage to keep the series even. 1-1 now between VP and Spirit. We're getting a game 3, Aiden.
And this was just a masterclass from VP, how to play from ahead. What do you do when you have the right heroes that can kill the enemy team? And it was perfect. Can't wait to rewatch this replay and learn from them.
Yeah, absolutely. The way they controlled things right up until the end. Great to see as well on the main stage. We're excited at the start of the game. You know, GPK back on his Viper and top form indeed. 6-2-14, Nightfall as well. 19-2-6, keeping up completely this game with Yatoro's Terrorblade. Yatoro could never farm himself an advantage, and it really just seemed we see VP hit back hard.
Virtus Pro, they have a lot of synergy, and Team Spirit, they have the Frog Rock guy. So.
They did, yeah, that's how exactly.
And look, there he is up front. Beautiful.
Big boy.
Beautiful indeed. All right, guys, it is game 3 time. Before we head into the game, we got a quick word from the coach. It is this time Silent from Team Spirit.
Silent, thank you so much for joining me. Now, in the last game, Virtus Pro targeted Collapse, and now they have targeted him in the draft. Do you feel confident about his chances in this game?
About our chances or just...
About Collapse.
Collapse. I think we're okay. It's decent drafts. It more depends who would play better.
It does depend who plays better, but this is $1 million draft. If you win this game, you are top 4. Is it good enough?
Maybe. I didn't think about it.
You didn't think about the draft. Fantastic. Well, this is going to be quite the showdown. So we're going to head over to OD Pixel and Insania to get this game underway.
Thank you very much, Frankie. Yes, the deciding game now between Virtus Pro and Team Spirit, a game which will be the last at this TI for one of the two. Insania, what do you make of this approach this time round? Quite a change, if I feel, from what we've had so far from both of these teams in this series. What are you liking?
So, I think there are strengths to both drafts. I don't want to bias any viewers at home watching. I don't want to give them any feeling that either team is stronger or weaker, but I'll tell you guys what the strengths are. So I think VP, they're looking to buff up this Luna, right? You're going to have Alacrity, you're going to have Beastmaster Aura, you're going to have Sunray. It's going to be all about the Luna for them. I think stacking of Ancients, just like basically playing the macro game and the early game, and then having this 4-man of Invoker, Beastmaster, Bane, and Phoenix running around and applying pressure to Team Spirit. Whereas Team Spirit, there's going to be like this tricore. You're going to have the Doom with a lot of farm, you're going to have Tiny with a lot of farm, you're going to have Lina with a lot of farm, and then they're going to look to power through and try to kill that one target. So basically it is, if Luna dies without an Aegis later on in the game, VP's teamfight's done. They're relying heavily on the Luna to output the physical damage for them. And if they can't kill Luna, then 1v5 Nightfall is going to happen.
Sure, and we've seen Nightfall do that many times before. Both games really. Both Nightfall and Yatora have been solid on the farm, solid on the carry. See what sort of timings they can hit this time round. Of course, Yatora this game on the Tiny, one of those heroes that's been first picked many a time here at this TI, and a lot of times taken away, getting it through here in this all-important game. Spirit almost certainly going to be feeling very happy, at least with the opening two from their draft. A great way to go into this.
Yeah. I would expect Team Spirit to have a little bit of an edge in the middle lane. I think as the levels start coming out, Lina should be edging out the Invoker slightly, as she has the option of farming out that small camp and pushing out the middle lane. So expect Toronto Tokyo to be off to a great start. Top lane between Luna Phoenix and Doom Snapfire, you don't really have a lot of like kill threat from either side. So you're mostly going to see them try to contest a lot for CS. You're using that Luna aura together with the Phoenix. Pretty decent attack damage to just get creep control creeps. So both Doom and Luna should have a pretty good time up here top. And then bottom lane, I think, is where you might see some action happen between Save and Akoshka, trying to get some trades going. And this is really where I see kill threat potentially happening. If you're out of position and getting slowed by the boars, could lead to a kill.
And do you like sort of the sort of the closing from Spiritual, the fact that they get this silencer in the support position? Like, what is this going to offer for them in terms of timing and team fight?
Right, so if you think about it, VP's draft, the way it comes together, it's going to be all about Luna, right? And they need to cover her, they need to heal her, they need to be applying these buffs to the Luna. And if they're able to just stop any sort of counter initiation, stop these buffs from coming out, stopping these heals from coming out, and they're able to burst them during that global silence duration, that might just be enough for them to win the game. So it makes sense, I understand what they're thinking, but you know, theoretical Dota doesn't always play out that way when you're on the main stage of TI, so it'll be interesting to see if they can get that execution right and find the fights where they're allowed to use their spells that way, as he's in a little bit of trouble here in the bottom lane.
We have it. First blood for Save. Obviously trading. I mean, it's any sort of support against a Bane in lane. It's never easy, especially when it's Save on the Bane. He always knows how to read the matchup and when he can push himself.
Yeah, I would argue Save on these like ranged lane dominant heroes arguably is the best position for in the world. This is his dream playstyle, so not too surprised by seeing that. We see up top actually the Luna is falling a little bit behind the Doom and the CS. I didn't expect that this early on, so maybe they're able to push that lead. As Kingslayer's in a bit of trouble, but gets away just fine.
Kingslayer is gonna be forced right back here by Mira, so plenty of room for Collapse to pick up the farm. Nightfall being forced to CS here underneath the tower.
Money to burn.
I think at this level, you know, that should not be too much of a problem. He has a level 2 Luna, Lucent Beam as well.
I'll say that, I think he missed one of them. There we go, he's got this one. Easy. Easy peasy.
Yeah, and I mean, the timing up here in the top lane is really the level 3. That's when the level 3 on the Phoenix, sorry. That's when they have the damage to potentially threaten a kill on Mira. I wouldn't really expect Collapse to have too much trouble going through this lane with the start that he's at. He's already up at 20 CS. And here we go, initiation on Nightfall.
Yep. Straight in they go. Won't be able to stay on top of it. But the damage being done out.
Yeah.
How much regen they have between the two of them? They don't actually have any. Just the stick charges on Nightfall. One Fairy Fire on Kingslayer. Pressure definitely getting to them.
Sorry. The worst part is the boots just got delivered to Nightfall, so his courier's not in base for him to get any regen.
Definitely in a bit of a fragile position now, VP. These two being as low as they are.
Yeah, I think the top lane is doing above expectation, and you know we've been talking about Collapse a lot, and this is the reason why. He has the skill to pull out plays like this.
And they go. They get the cookie connection. Nightfall will turn, but the range is there from Mirror. Gets taken out. I mean, you knew that Team Spirit were going to go for that, sitting as low as they were up here. I mean, VP's just lack of regen getting completely punished.
Yeah, absolutely, and just great find from Team Spirit. I didn't really expect this top lane to have this much action going on. I expected that more to be happening in the bottom lane, but yeah, top lane going very, very well for Spirit. 26 CS on the Doom, but you see at the bottom lane, DM's matching that. And these are both like very scary heroes to have a great early game on.
A very even CS elsewhere. I mean, mid lane. Actually, mid lane, we are starting to see Lina being able to clean up the waves a bit more effectively than GPK and farm that small camp.
Yeah, and that really is the advantage that she has here. I expect Toronto Tokyo, very standard build, most likely going to see the boots of travel into some sort of BKB into damage item. Might even sneak into Yules there, just because when you're going up against something like Bane or like that, you want to have as many disables as possible. You do have the Global Silence to cancel it, but ideally you want to have the freedom of using the Global Silence to cover your team fights and not be forced to save it to react to like a Fiend's Grip or something like that.
Bottom save. It's going to start setting up onto Miposhka, but DM not quite able to get around and get any hits in. And now, it's going to be Team Spirit able to turn back in. Toss underneath the tower, save. But the Fairy Fire, and he's taking tower hits. He'll go down. Can't quite get him for another Brain Sap. A little too close there, and Yatoro ready to punish it with the toss.
Oh, perfect gameplay there from Team Spirit. And looking at the laning phase now that's shaping up, I think most things are going quite as expected, but both the Luna and the Doom are actually quite low on the net worth compared to the opposite end. So seems like both heroes are suffering. I think that favors Team Spirit, right? Because if you think about VP's draft, they need this Luna to be fat. She's going to be the one outputting the damage. And Collapse has the recovery tool in his Devour, so things going pretty well for them up here top. But the Beastmaster definitely is a problem. Helm of Dominator just finished up on him.
And with sort of the Beastmaster and the Luna, you know, who's going to be grouping up sooner this game, would you say, when you look at these two drafts?
I think VP's draft is probably going to be the one that groups up faster. And I think Team Spirit's job is going to be to disrupt that, to not allow them to get the objectives the way they want to, and like try to kill them before they're able to group up.
I do see in the mid lane, Toronto Tokyo did take the walk back to base to refuel. If he heads anywhere other than the mid, when he gets back out on the map, he's just going to return here, keep on farming.
Yeah, and GPK is TP top. They want to make sure Luna is able to start farming as effectively as she can.
Spirit are keeping completely away from this. Only in the trees by the tier 1 GPK, which has to spend his time sweeping back to mid, where Save will have a bit of a setup onto Toronto Tokyo. GPK trying to come in and help out. Save might be in trouble. Toronto Tokyo has got that Laguna to commit with, and Save, oh, he tries his best to hide behind the tree line, but Toronto Tokyo does still find him. He's in a lot of trouble for this though. Cold snap in the EMP into the stun from DM's Centaur.
That's a really nice play from Save there, completely baiting him out. And then, you know, it was so close to him juking it out. If he gets that juke, he survives. What an amazing play. But really nice response there. You see, this first earn charge for Invoker is really important. And that's sometimes the hard part of playing Invoker. When you're stuck in your lane, you're unable to get it. You saw him TP top, not find a kill, but then rotates back mid and sets up the opportunity for him to get that. So now he has that earn. If he wants to make a move, it's much, much easier.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yatoro, he's able to find Kingslayer. And with the curses upon him, it's going to be quite the bit of damage ticking in, but GPK's there to try and help out. Curses still tick down Kingslayer. Yatoro burst out of mana. DM closing the gap in with the roar. He'll have the follow-up lockdown if necessary, but the right clicks alone, that'll do it. Yatoro trying to run, but completely surrounded by GPK, DM, and his Centaur.
Yeah, pretty funny little interaction there as DM took over the Centaur that was already EMP'd by his own Invoker, so he couldn't use the stun.
And top lane, Mirror does end up going down here. We see a quick move once more. GPK making sure to get involved in all of this early action, keep those charges up.
Yeah, GPK just in the right place at the right time, and when he's not, he makes sure he has the TP ready to get over there. He's having a very, very good start to this game. you would expect around 9 minutes for the Selena to be the one that's ahead and
Oh, look at
dominating.
DM. He just walks under the tower, kills off Miposhka. And TPing over to punish him for this. See if they're actually able to do so. The kiss is coming out, but DM, he's just going to go straight for the TP away. And there is nothing to stop that man.
VP are set up here. We have a level 5 on Phoenix with the Invoker, but their judgment here is that we don't have enough damage to kill the Tiny. So they're waiting for the Beastmaster to rotate back, but...
They're going to try. But you're right, even with the opening, it's not enough to burn through Yatori straight away. Yatori's actually looking to turn back in with a cookie over towards GPK.
Oh, he misinvoked. He invoked Cold Snap, so he doesn't have Invis for another 2 seconds. Can they chase him down, though?
They've got the toss. He's got it back up now, but the curse is already in place. Sentry ready to drop as well as GPK will die.
Oh, that one's got a sting. He misinvoked. He definitely wanted the Ghost Walk, but he got the Cold Snap instead, so unable to make the distance there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
But yeah, you see the Luna now heading back into the jungle, starting to farm up these stacks and recovering his early game. And this is going to be really the key thing for VP, I think. How much pressure can they apply with the other heroes? They have Phoenix Egg back up now. They have Roar, Catapult Wave bottom. Beastmaster's gameplay, it sometimes just becomes pretty predictable because you're mostly going to look to push around the Catapult timings because that's when you get that bonus tower damage. And that is what I expect them to go for here. Most likely going to see the Phoenix rotate bottom, try to use that Catapult to apply pressure to the tower. And Spirit looks like they want to fight. They're setting up.
So at the 600 Poshka, so Global will be ready to break through the combo that VP will want to play with. Supernova, of course, up for them on their side.
So VP here, they're noticing that Nightfall's not getting pressured in the top lane, and this means that there are no heroes there, right? Nightfall's able to farm top, he's not getting pressured. That means DM's about to get ganked, and what do you see DM do? Fall back straight to his triangle, wait for support to come by, and now they're going to make the attempted push with all their heroes in position. Great plays from VP, they're reading the map so well right now.
They will now start to push a little further on this bottom lane.
Yeah.
Toronto Tokyo and bots at the ready will be able to join engagements. It looks like Spirit is mirroring the pressure here up top.
Yeah, Spirit recognizing, you know what, we have the better scaling. We don't need to force any fight if we don't have to. Collapse has that Midas queued up. He actually already has a finish and he has a BKB queued up, which he already has one piece for, so he's incredibly farmed. And it's only going to start ticking in faster. He doesn't even have Devour maxed out yet and he's already on top of the net worth graph.
Radiant's bottom
It's going to be a real problem for VP, this Doom.
2k lead
Dire's middle tower
on the passiveness. Will definitely show itself in the farm here for Spirit. VP not quite able to find a catch there with the swing around, but they'll split themselves back up. Pressure will remain on the bottom from DM.
Yeah, VP support's also moving towards the top side of the map, recognizing that DM's not under any pressure. Spirit's not looking to fight this, so moving their Phoenix back top, keeping him close by the Invoker, so they always have the damage to fight back if somebody gets caught.
Spirit, they want to make a move.
Yeah, they don't want to just have this Beastmaster controlling all their space. They don't want to get stuck in their base like they did last time.
Not even just so the Bane save's been keeping them out of their jungle completely, so they've got to try and flush them out here.
But you notice, like right now, Tiny doesn't really have a lot of space to farm. He's dropping down. He was doing very, very well at the start of the game, but at this point, there's just not many camps for them to farm. So I feel like VP are doing a good job of controlling the pace, but I'm scared of this Doom, Owen. He's getting really, really fast.
He's going to get massive. And even if Yatoro's farm gets shut down a bit, Toronto Tokyo on the Lina, we've seen it many times. The Lina can very easily carry a game on her own back as well with the damage that they can do later on.
Absolutely, and I think Team Spirit, they're like one of the few teams that I see do this consistently, where the Yatoro kind of shifts between the 1 and the 3 position almost. He kind of plays like more of a supportive player from the carry position. He'll buy the carry items, but you see it, look at his item queues up. He has Echo Saber into Blink. He recognizes that's going to be his job this game.
Top lane. An attempt on to Collapse. There's a lot here with the burn of the Sunray. Using the Supernova as well, but Collapse is going to be able to walk out of the range of it all. So,
yeah, the lack of the Urn Charge. They just don't have enough Urn Charges to chase him down there.
At the same time that was happening, Spirit did have a bit of a poke at the mid. the remainder of VP's lineup in position to stop it. And VP, again, just getting themselves to the jungle. You see Save and DM consistently pushing Spirit out of this, their half of the map down.
They also, VP recognizes, right? Even though we didn't kill the Doom, he's out of resources, so he can't fight. What does that mean? That means that Team Spirit has to draw back on the map, and VP are allowed to walk up to this tower. They know that they have a timing until Doom regions up, until they have to reset back.
This tower, nothing can be done. They will get the deny at least, but inevitable pressure from VP in their push of DM and his summons. It's building up.
Yeah.
And if they can get these objectives, they will keep the gap pretty small between the farm of both of the teams.
I mean, I think Team Spirit right now, they're just trying to greed up for their BKBs. As soon as they get the BKBs, that's going to be their timing to fight. But VP are controlling so much more map space, the way the map looks right now. And if you look at the Luna, she's just catching up. She started at the bottom of the cores, now she's in second place and almost caught up to the Doom. So I feel like if you're Spirit, you're not too happy with this pace, but maybe you have to accept it until BKBs come out, as Doom's caught once more.
It's gonna have the back of a Yatora though, Collapse. He's ready to try and turn. GPK into the trees to dodge Collapse, trying to get the ult off. Now the ult comes in from the Luna as Nightfall turns up to the fight. Not enough beams to burst through Collapse's Doom though. Both teams able to step back. An Eclipse and a Doom gone to waste for each respective side.
Yep, expect the smoke here from VP, right? There's no Doom, they're weak. This is going to be their time to pounce, and immediately they smoke up. They have no cooldowns. They have this Quasvex Invoker that's constantly able to fight and run around. And even the mana situation on Team Spirit is something that we need to keep close track of, because if they burn the mana, the hero is no longer a hero, right? It goes for almost every single hero that they have on their team. Lina needs the mana, Doom needs the mana.
Quick 9 mana, set things up. It's close to tier 2 tower, but they've got so many up here, they'll even use the Roar.
Yeah, great kill. They just want to buy space for Nightfall. And he's closing in on that BKB. I feel like every minute that ticks by, oh no, Collapse.
Oh, that was rather a greedy attempt at a TP. They'll hide in the trees, but they found him more money for the Luna.
Yeah, this Luna's getting scary fat, and I think once we see the Luna ready to start team fighting, expect that Roshan attempt. This Roshan's going to be so important, because if you think about Team Spirit's heroes, Tiny has basically a spell combo the way he's itemizing, right? Going for the blink, not really going to be the big auto attacker that we're used to seeing during this tournament. Lina as well relies on her ultimate, relies on her BKB to fight. Same thing goes for Doom. He just wants to Doom a guy and push for him to die, so Aegis is going to be huge.
GPK just been a huge nuisance there, forcing Yatora back each and every time with that EMP.
It really does feel like the GPK show. He's everywhere, right?
He is. He's right in their faces.
Oh, Fiend's Grip coming out on the silencer. Giving the kills.
Now we're able to blow up the Phoenix. So the trade is found here.
Yeah. Laguna Blade used. So is Fiend's Grip. But yeah, for Spirits, it's just try to get the Blink on Yatoro. Try to finish up the BKB. You have it on Lina now. You have it on Doom. And then once they get that Blink on Yatoro, that should hopefully be their cue to try to find a fight for themselves. Because if the game continues like this, the way the map's set up just heavily favors VP.
Yeah, this, Nightfall Luna, as you mentioned before, very much on track to be able to carry this completely in any sort of action they bring them, as long as they can protect her from being doomed. And so far, things look to be pretty good for VP in that sense. Top lane, Yatora trying to push out the wave. That's the Tiny going down. Nightfall again picking up the glory. I mean, he's been having all this space on this half of the map, and we're seeing him get some very nice kills here with the way that Team Spirit seem to be just sending one core up there at a time.
It's just abusing the night vision from the Lunar Blessing, right? Luna can see you when you can't see her, so she's able to scout that out as she comes towards that camp and farm. And, this is the perfect kill for them. If Tiny doesn't get Blink, that gives them opportunities to keep farming and keep fighting and keep deciding what's going to happen in this game. And now they have that Aegis. I think this is massive for them. Game firmly in control for Virtus Pro, I'd say.
Yeah. They're hitting the timings they're down for. Save. Forcing some TPs in here around the mid. So we'll be there to ensure that nothing else follows up from VP.
Yeah, I'm sure Yatora right now is saying, don't fight, I just want my Blink. I just need his 400 gold. And it's going to be hard to find.
I mean, look at this. GPK starts the fight on top of the silencer, so Miposhka, no chance to return fire with a setup of a global. GPK is coming in from all the angles that Spirit least expect.
That's just great recognition from VP, right? They know where the Tiny's going to go to farm. The Tiny
Save.
was right there.
I mean, this save Bane, so many games, it's just set up so much. And the show continues from the man. Instantly just able to buy time with the Nightmare for VP to join up. And VP, the triple kill on GPK. This, he's getting out of control. This Invoker, 4-1 and 5, he is hitting full momentum. And it is, as you say, complete control of the map. Spirit, they've got to get a grip somehow.
Yeah, they're hitting their item timings, though. It's important to note Team Spirit's teamfight is not weak. They're very much capable of fighting back into this fight once they're able to group up. And in order to group up, they need to finish off these items, and now they have.
Fine save. Save. Should be pretty dead here. Tries to juke his way out of things, but with a vision down, there's no hiding in the trees.
Yep, Blink Doom, global ready. They still have the Snapfire ult. This is a good timing for them to start looking for some sort of fight. Ooh, they see the Luna. Seems like they want the Invoker, though. They feel like they can't go on the Luna with the Aegis without it being a bad fight for them, so...
Yeah. They've got to do something about GPK. He's been getting away with so much, they'll find him. Jump in, the combos there. GPK out of the game.
Yeah, Doom wasn't even needed to be used there, so they still have the capability of fighting into VP. And if you take a look at VP's wards, they're set up very... Team Spirit's wards. They're set up very defensively in their own jungle. And that's really where they're going to be looking to punish VP if they overextend, as they're heading over towards their vision to play close to it. So if DM shows himself on these wards, expect to pounce immediately.
Nightfall. Still, of course, very ready to fight with the BKB and the Aegis who commit onto Collapse, but Collapse has got the BKB, they turn straight away, they burst through the Luna. It's the first life of Nightfall gone.
Yeah, true BKB's burnt though, so they recognize that they can no longer fight this, and they immediately reset back without any casualties. So VP now have an opening during the BKB downtime to try to find some sort of fight. If they can do it, this was an Aegis well spent.
Spirit, they know, even with that Aegis taken away from VP, very much ready to brawl and try and see if they can get the jump. Nightfall's going for the Aegis. That means Yatora's able to get the lead and toss it back, but the BKB's out of time. Kiss is coming in from the side. VP's still heading it onto Yatora with a cold snap. Yatora is in trouble, goes down, set up into the raw Sunstrike. They blow up Mirror as well. Spirit, they try and take a fight. I mean, I guess they just completely underestimated VP's potential to turn if Nightfall gets his BKB on.
I think that was as simple as just some simple miscommunication. Had Yatora maybe yelled that out half a second faster, he gets a Doom off while he's in the air, that looks completely different. Luna's immediately dead, and you're gonna see Team Spirit running at them. But unfortunately, the communication just looked like it was slightly off there. And that just leads to the polar opposite team fight, right? They have to reset back to lose Yatora, and Snapfire ult now expended.
Yatora, of course, queuing up that BKB, but he's quite the while away from it. See Toronto, Tokyo doing the classic Shadow Amulet setup here. Very
He's
sneaky.
been practicing this in pubs.
He has. I'll tell you what, I wish that's what happened in my games when my teammates got the Shadow Amulet.
Yeah, mine too, Owen.
Oh,
oh,
save.
how does he do this? How is he just
He's just
always
there,
where
isn't
they
he? He's
are?
always there. Nightmares from everywhere. Feeds grip at the ready.
Ooh.
Global will be used, but the time's been brought in. Nightfall's going to be charging over towards Toronto, Tokyo.
This is an opening, though.
I mean, the rest of Spirit are looking to connect with Toronto, Tokyo. In fact, they're going to find GPK. They knew that GPK would be looking for that wraparound, and it all ends up working out for Spirit. They read and they get into the mind of GPK this time.
Yeah, just beautiful understanding of the game, right? They understand we use global. That's going to give VP the cue to group up and look for some fight. And they've decided to smoke to their Lina, find a rotating Invoker. Just really high level thinking here from Team Spirit. Something important to note, as this game does continue on into the late game, you traditionally see your Lunas buying items like Satanic, right? In order to survive the team fights. She won't really have that luxury in this game. He should be expected to get doomed in almost every single fight. So it's going to be hard for VP, I think, after a certain point in this game, to keep scaling up, to keep relying on the Luna to output all of their damage. So for For VP, it's going to be about hitting the Scotty timing on Luna and then looking to try to zone them into their base again, grab the second Aegis, and then apply the high ground pressure. You see the Luna also has skipped the Shard. This is because he's planning on getting the next Roche. There's no Luna Shard. He wants that from Roshan for free.
Toronto Tokyo setting up in the mid. They open up the light strike. Really good to blade as well. They're in onto the Luna. Nightfall down. Huge kill. Super swift move from Toronto Tokyo. I mean, they knew he had the amulet, but of course, getting that blade completed in between that last blade top and this play now, they weren't quite prepared for that, and Nightfall just completely misreads that item would have been online when it was.
Yeah, absolutely. And every time this Luna goes down, it's a huge opening for Team Spirit. They scale up really nicely into this game. They're going to have Shiva's Guard on Doom. They're going to have a second round of Doom. And Tiny is now recognizing that, you know what? I'm finally getting some space. I'm finally finding my farm on the map. He's going to go for BKB, and then he's going to look for that classic item build in the Silver Edge.
VP, not to be put down here. They are still sweeping into the jungle, despite the fact that Nightfall's out of action. Maybe seeing if they can catch Nia Spirit off guard. It's going to be hard though. Spirit grouped up as 4 around the mid. Toronto Tokyo will head back to reset, get that mana up. BKB Silver Edge, he's starting to gear up to be rather terrifying on this Lina. If they don't get on top of him, no longer does it really matter if Yatoro's the first one to die in this fight. Toronto Tokyo is going to be dishing out the damage.
Yep, he absolutely will. And you know, the story of the 4 Protect 1 still continues for VP. If you take a look at their items, GPK is building a Linken's. They're building Lotus Orb on the Beastmasters. They really want to protect this Luna. This is going to be all about the Luna for them. So, are they going to be able to do it, or is Team Spirit's just Tricore too strong?
I mean, it's as you said, it's always a risk. Always a risk, this 4 Protect 1 against the Doom.
Yep, it absolutely is.
Radiant's middle tower.
We saw VP here very aggressive on the dive inside the base last game. They're looking for something similar here in Toronto Tokyo. Cold snap.
Bam, grip straight away. Global, it's in play.
Man, this global's come in huge front of Tokyo twice now. It's really stopping VP from making the pickoffs that they want, but it's still an opening, right? No global. Roshan could spawn in 20 seconds if VP's lucky.
And if they're able to clean up that Roche, that pretty much will be the money for Nightfall to have that Skadi complete. So very close to this next sort of power spike when they'll have the tools and able to get out. Ooh, a little close there top with the tornado, but the TP's out in time, Spirit's away.
Yeah, and we saw this in the last game too. When Roshan's about to come up, where does VP go? Well, straight into the Radiant Triangle.
Yep.
Control the space. Make sure they're pushing in the top lane. Make sure you're pushing in the mid lane. Force Team Spirit to come to you and fight under your vision.
Oh, they're coming. Smoke up from Spirit, ready to head out the base.
And you see Spirit, they're dodging this ramp that's closest to the ward because they recognize that there's most likely going to be vision there. And they're just running all the way up through the top lane to make sure that they avoid any sort of fight under VP's vision.
This is going to be pretty huge as Spirit can catch them off guard, but Linken's now complete on GPK, so we'll be there for the next fight. They've also got the Lotus Orb on the Beastmaster. GPK.
They saw the Lina.
They did. Toronto Tokyo's got to be cautious. And enclosed, Tori's in with the jump straight away after the Luna. The Nightmare is buying time. Is he going to keep him blind? It's not. The Doom still comes down. Nightfall to go down. Turn with the roar onto this Lina as Toronto Tokyo supernova stun in the face as well. As the Lina down, VP they want to try and chase on for more, and they're going to find Maposhka. Cold snap into the Sun Ray. He freezes and burns at the same time.
Okay, but Nightfall's buyback was expended. If Roshan does not spawn for them within the timer, this is very good for Team Spirit. You see how fast this Luna dies. They're not able to keep her alive. They need the Aegis. Unless she can dodge out some of these spells, she's going to be dying.
Top lane collapse. Very close to being caught there by GPK. He's going to go out for the TP around the tree line. He's out.
Beautiful juke. He tried to use a Sunstrike to provide him with vision to cancel the TP, but unfortunately just didn't. If you're VP right now, you're praying that Roshan spawns. They don't know the timer the way we do.
Absolutely not. It's not going to be up until Spirit do have the full lineup back up. Sure, the Doom itself won't be back online. Still about a 30-second window between that and the Roshan, but everything else, it will be there. And then we are seeing if Yatoro gets that lead in, even without the ultimate from the Doom, that initiation and time for them to throw everything out, it's enough.
Yeah,
so mid DM, he's going to go for the roar onto the Doom and collapse. I think he's going to be all right. Does have to use the BKB here to run out the Sunray. But now, that's another threat that won't be there for the Roshan. DM, no roar.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at the bottom rune. Take a look at what's at the bottom rune.
Oh, and look who's near it. Nightfall is around if he catches vision of it. This could be exactly what they need around a fight. Now, this Roshan, as we said, it's not going to be too easy for VP, with Spirit being back up.
Yeah, Roshan's up. I'm sure they're thinking about it right now.
Who's going to check out that DD? It's still there. Either team with eyes on it.
Yeah.
No one going to check it. Save. You won't be here for this Roshan. No buyback on save.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for Team Spirit to try to look to make some sort of map control play, de-ward the potential wards that VP might have in their triangle, gain control of that area, and here you go. Mepashka finds it right away. He has a gem and 2 sentries. That's how committed he is to making sure that there's no vision on them.
And this is going to be huge. The buyback comes out from save. They want to do everything to maintain control of the Roche. It's back up. GPK did see the DD. I imagine Nightfall is going to head over to pick it up. He's going to be able to grab it before it disappears, so DD rune at the ready.
Yep.
Still just 200 gold really off that Skadi. Would have been great for him if he could somehow get that online before the fight. VP, they're already smoked up around mid, ready for someone to step at Toronto. Tokyo's got to be cautious.
He absolutely has to be cautious. He is their source of damage. He's their answer for the egg. If he doesn't get to stand his ground in the fights, it could be very, very hard for Team Spirit. Just the same as if the Luna goes down. Without the Lina, they just don't have that firepower to really finish targets off as the Skadi finishes, but this DD was most likely not going to get used for anything.
No, it's going to run out soon.
Both teams recognize this Roshan's everything. Yep. Whoever gets it is going to have a huge advantage.
Buybacks are pretty important as well. GPK just 50 gold off his, so he's close to... Yeah, he's going to have it. So there will be buybacks available across the board, really.
Yep.
And they will certainly be coming out around this Roche, especially once some of the bigger ultimates have been used. If VPC, the Doom drop, Global Silence popped, they will absolutely invest those buybacks to secure Roshan.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you're Spirit here, you're probably thinking, do we want to use this opportunity while the Luna's buyback is on cooldown? First, and like, is it worth running into the vision to get that opportunity, or is it not? I'm sure that's the kind of conversation that's going on in their booth right now. Do we want to run in, fight when Luna can't, or do we want to wait for them to come to us?
I mean, when you look at these two teams at the moment, when they're playing sort of around the stalemate near the Roshan, who is it easier for to start the fight?
I don't actually think it's easier for either team. You have the Hawk and VP to smoke behind, but you know, you expect there to be some sort of sentry, and if they spot the Hawk coming into their triangle, you know what's coming next. That's a smoked up VP behind it. So both teams understanding that it's very, very hard to move into each other. But I just have to imagine you're thinking about it if you're Team Spirit. It'd just be so juicy. You know, the Luna has no buyback, and you know she has no buyback.
Nearly still 4 minutes on that buyback cooldown for Nightfall. See, DM, he did have the money for the blink. He's maybe holding off in case he himself doesn't want to keep the buyback available, so he can get back over to that outpost and offer up his services if he's the one that gets initiated upon. The VP, they're going to start things off here in the pit. They're going to... He's all right. He's not going to find Nightfall. Nightfall never going to BKB up. The Tornado comes out at the same time with the group as well. They've locked down the Doom. Collapse has been found. Instant buyback from Collapse. DM ticking down low to the Curse. They'll try and get the Beastmaster out of there. Will DM go down the once? A bit of a heal from the Sun Ray. Will keep DM protected. So all in all, it's the Doom having to expend the buyback.
The Lina still has BKB.
And huge. He walked straight into it. You see the step up for GPK. The Doom is down. Dropped onto the Luna. The Lotus was there, so having to deal with the Doom himself, but he got his job done. Collapse. He doesn't mind taking his own Doom. As that's Nightfall down for 100 seconds. GPK did buy back. But a bit of a very risky way for GPK to try and approach that fight. Walking in, he's got to be almost certain that Team Spirit have the sentry down.
They actually did sentry their ward first, so just great positioning by Mepashka, running in as fast as possible, dropping that sentry and ward.
It's alright. Never going jump, he's got the silent. He's got him. Did they heal off?
Great EMP.
They're burning through. You're trying to take it from GPK. It goes straight over the ward. The Invoker GPK tries to push it back with the Deathly Blood, but GPK goes down. Kingslayer will kill off your turret, but another light strike from Toronto Tokyo. Sets up for the kill on Kingslayer. He's now ready to go over towards DM. DM trying to step away. See if they've got the chase down. Able to remove the debuff with the Lotus Orb. DM. He's going to be found by the slope from Mirror. Break it comes in. The little shredder. It'll get the job done, surely.
Immediate buyback. They don't want to give up Roshan. They understand. Maybe we can't kill them, but as long as there's 3 of us alive, they won't be willing to go into the Roche pit because it's going to cost them too many resources and it'll drop too low from trying to tank Roshan. So the stalemate continues. I think
it does.
VP, they survived the no buyback Luna here. It's huge for them.
They did. Indeed, even in a situation where you look at the death timers and GPK and Nightfall down at the moment, as you say, with what they're able to hit back with, there's almost certainly going to be time for at least Nightfall to get back in before anything kicks off again. We'll see this fight once more. You said we're just great Reed of getting that sentry down.
Actually. They're attempting to get the Roshan.
They are.
BKB's been used by
Jordan Tokyo's trying. The Roar comes out, but the Lotus is there. The Roar back onto him on his own self. DM's in trouble. DM, he's still alive. The Thunder Hill, Kingslayer keeps DM alive.
Oh my god, how
Roshan is so low. Toronto Tokyo wants to step back in. Light Strike Rare's going to miss. He doesn't catch either of those things because the Global Silence comes out. Toronto Tokyo commits to finish off the Roshan. They get it, Team Spirit.
Oh, it's so huge. But are they out?
Oh,
are they
the birds! They're coming in on Toronto Tokyo, but he's out. Lotus and the Silver Edge, he'll disappear. Mirror will get left behind. They're tempted to go back in. Toronto Tokyo wants to take down Nightfall. He's in with the Laguna, forces out the BKB from Nightfall. But they got what they came for. Aegis on Toronto Tokyo. Spirit able to sneak in and take it.
Absolutely. This is huge because it slows down VP's game plan. VP's game plan was to try to win the game on the second Aegis. Now if they're even going to have a chance to win the game, they need to make sure that they get the next one that comes up. And in order to even just get there, they have to survive the second Aegis. So for VP, you're not really thinking about your game plan anymore. You're off the win condition that you initially tried to set up, and your mindset is just like, okay, how do we survive the next 10, 11 minutes until Roshan spawns again?
I mean, and how do you have to just go full defensive?
I think like every single team approaches this in a different way. Some teams start split pushing really heavily. Some teams like to group up and like play on the defense. When I think of VP, I feel like they're traditionally a team that likes to play when they're in control. They're rarely put in this position, right? They left the DPC with I think 14 wins, 0 losses. They're not used to being put behind like this. So I think this is a tough position for VP to be in, and it's a position I would imagine they don't have a lot of practice in either.
Definitely a scary time for them to be put in that position here. Game 3 in an elimination series here at the International.
Yep. We have some big items coming up soon. I think if you're Team Spirit, you're starting to think about, all right, how do we set up this timing to be as strong as possible for us?
Safe.
You have Brave. Doom closing in on the refresher. Lina's eyeing up that Hex. And you see Yatora's finally coming around to that auto attack build. He has the shard. I believe he got it from Roshan. And
I think that, yeah, was the second one.
Yeah, Silver Edge finished up, and he's going to start looking at that AC. So he's going to turn into a third carry. We talked about how he kind of started his game off more as an offlaner than he was a carry. And now he's slowly shifting back into that carry position.
Yeah, he certainly is. Closing the gap on Nightfall's Luna. Just 1k between them now. Spirit out with the smoke. They know they're ahead. 8k advantage right now off the back of that last sort of few minute long fight around the Roshan.
Yeah. Save is closing in on a Aghanim Scepter, I believe. But he does have a Force Staff queued up, so it might change his mind at any given time.
VP know though, 3 of them right up by their tier 3s. They know how strong Spirit is here.
Yep. Spirit also respecting Virtus Pro's ability to fight. If they can hold a high ground on vision, it's going to be very difficult for them to run into. So they're keeping their formation, making sure they're always moving in with the right heroes in front. And that, in this case, is the Aegis Lina. Also, Lincoln Sphere finished up on the Lina, so very hard for the Virtus Pro initiators to really get on top of her. The only real initiation they have to catch her is some sort of Enfeeble from Bane, coordinated with a Roar from the Beastmaster. So it's going to be a 2-player initiation. Got to make sure you have that coordination on point.
As we're seeing one of them always put to a stop thanks to the global potential. So further limiting the way they can start off the action, VP.
Team Spirit playing with so much discipline though. Look at it. Tiny's not walking up to clap the tower because unless he knows he's safe. Really playing this patiently. Just walks up, hits it twice, backs off. You know, they understand. We cannot give away the wrong target. We might be stronger, but it's only under the right circumstances. As long as we play it right, we will edge out in the fights. Make one mistake, and it's not the case. We see Luna eyeing up the Satanic. This is an item, you know, I think is really hard to use against Doom, but they have 2 Lotus Orbs and a Lincoln Sphere, so it's all about keeping this Luna alive. If she's able to alive, if she's gonna be able to stay alive and use that Satanic, that might be a game changer.
Bottom! Global straight away, of course, to keep Toronto Tokyo safe. That's gonna be saved dead.
Yeah, and he did just finish up that Aghanims, and I'm sure Team Spirit saw that. And Bane is not a hero that has a lot of gold, so they should be thinking to themselves, most likely this Bane does not have a buyback.
Especially now with the refresher done on Collapse. They'll be very happy to make the moves. Aegis timing out. But that ability to pretty much either guarantee a Doom on one target, or if Collapse is able to find them grouped up, get the Doom down onto 2.
Yeah, Spirit has really nice vision set up though on the top side of the map. And when you're playing Radiant, this is where you want vision if you want to wait for the next Roche shot. This is going to give Spirit an advantage going into the next Roche fight. You know, maybe recognizing we don't have the best high ground tools yet. We need the AC on the Tiny in order to go high ground. So they're just playing it patient. They understand with a second Aegis, all we needed to do was take map control and make sure that VP has to fight us under our circumstances. And they're recognizing that, you know what, our Lina probably outscales most heroes of this game at this point. VP doesn't really have great heroes to catch people in the back line. So just really good game understanding from Spirit. Are we gonna see a Rax trade?
I mean, someone's gonna surely back off. I mean, GPK is here trying to hold them off, but this damage. My goodness, the base not standing a chance. It's gone. The Rex, they're done for.
Kingslayer TP cancelled. No Phoenix in base.
Collapse. Can he keep himself on top of DM? DM. And he's going to be met by the wraparound of Toronto Tokyo. It's a dead Beastmaster for sure. Rax taken, Rax defended. DM down, no buyback for 50 seconds.
Yeah, huge opening for Team Spirit. You saw how fast they killed that Rax in the top lane if they want to. Expect them to start looking for that middle lane next. I don't even know how VP hold them off. I can't even think of a scenario in which this defense works.
I mean, as we see, sort of just one death and the barracks will be gone. They've got so much pushing power here.
Yeah, Nightfall using the ninja gear to smoke himself up, then puts in the Elven Tunic. He's trying to get every little bit that he can out of his hero right now.
Has to be so careful. Spirit, if they get any sort of jump, it could be game over for VP.
Spirit playing it so patiently though. They're not giving it to VP, they're refusing to overextend. I'm sure if you're a VP right now, you're feeling the pressure. You understand, you know what? Our game plan was not this. This is not the position in the game we wanted to be in. And I think this is the position where you start making mistakes. So for VP, it's going to be, how can we stay as disciplined as possible? They have the gold for the Satanic on the Luna, but he's not buying it just quite yet.
I mean, buyback's going to be so important at this stage. Especially when you're playing the 4 Protect 1. You're doing it against a Doom, you have to be sure that you're there for a second round in the fight if they get the jump on you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for VP, you want to try to find these wards. These 2 wards that are alive for Team Spirit, they're huge. This is what's not preventing VP from moving over into towards the Roshan side. And they must be going through VP's heads. They must be thinking about the vision that Team Spirit has right now. They have 4 wards on the map. They basically see everything. They're controlling both the Dire jungles, and there's no way VP's playing on the Radiant side, right? So Team Spirit are basically playing with map pack at this point in the game. Miposhka's had a great game. We actually haven't touched on it, but he's been playing amazingly well. The globals have been on point. I think he saved Toronto Tokyo 3 times.
He has, from save.
Without those saves, he wouldn't be at like 28,000 net worth at this point in the game.
No, it's, you know, with how well Save plays his Bane, it's one of those things that when you see it in practice and how good Miposhka makes it look, you kind of wonder why other teams haven't done this as a direct answer. It really ruins that sort of flow that the VP want to play. We saw in previous games of this series where they just go kill to kill with the setup. Mid lane, so you're going to catch up to Toronto Tokyo with the roar. The global comes out, but Toronto Tokyo, he's not surviving this. BKB popped, it won't keep him alive, he's dead. 100 seconds. I mean, Roshan, it's up in a minute, so there'll be about a 40-second window when Roche is up. The Lina isn't. See if VP's able to make anything work with this.
Yeah, so VP, you know what? They decide like halfway through the potential Roshan spawn timer. So for those of you who don't know, Roshan can spawn in a random timer between 8 to 11 minutes from the last time that he died. VP decided to smoke during that gap. Unfortunately for them again, Roshan doesn't spawn during the timer where they're strong and Team Spirit are weak. But like you touched on, they will have an opening.
There's a little window. It depends how quickly they spot it out and if it's going to be enough. You know, yes, there are hawks everywhere. They will see as soon as it's up. But Team Spirit, of course, still very scary with just the 4 of them. With the lead that they have, 15k up as a team right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them fight it.
Yeah. Absolutely. The buyback status as well is not quite as good for Spirit. Still 3 of their heroes without the money for the buyback. You see on VP, they're playing it much more cautious. Everybody buyback at the ready.
Yep, they understand that, you know, if we don't get this Roshan, it's done. There's no item in the game that's more valuable for us than this Aegis. So it really is going to come down to Roche, and it spawns a refresher.
30 seconds, no Toronto Tokyo. This is ideal for VP. Some crucial components in the start of a potential turnaround. As the Roche, it's all theirs. Spirit nowhere near to be seen. Aegis, Refresher Shard, and again, no love for the cheese.
They don't like cheese on VP.
Yeah, okay. All right. I mean, that
could potentially be game-changing.
I think that's pretty important.
Yeah.
You've got to use everything you get to can get to get back in on this one. You're down at the moment. Cheese left behind.
If they lose this game, they're going to regret that a lot.
They are. They really are.
Yeah. Once again, we have a standoff. VP now finally getting rid of these pesky wards.
Look at this Toronto Tokyo. He's in with the burst straight away. They've got the grid coming out of the globals there. Nightfall being fully focused down by Toronto Tokyo. Nightfall to go down.
He's standing his ground alone against 4 heroes on Toronto Tokyo.
He's got the backup coming in. He needs it. Jump forward for collapse. The Doom goes down. Finds his target. If they can get any follow-up, the kisses are coming in. They're having a backup refresher. Pop by collapse. He's ready to go in once more. They're healing up the Luna. The tree hit comes in hard. Nightfall still alive for now. GPK trying to force back the rest of Spirit. They know no Lina for 80 seconds, but VP, they will be cautious. They won't try and push on for any more. They'll accept it as it is.
Surely they know this Lina has no buyback, right? I don't know, actually. Who plays like a madman?
I mean,
it's so hard to understand.
I was going to say, Spirit is playing without buyback on some of their cores in a way that, as you say, you just wouldn't expect them to do so. So VP may be hesitant due to the fact that they feel that the Toronto Tokyo could still make a re-entry here. We'll see how hard they do push it.
Yep. Important to note, Doom refreshed. He has 1 more Doom ready, but so did Phoenix. The Refresher Shard has been expended. So there's another egg on Virtus Pro's side too.
Shora's going to step in his stock, cleaning up the creeps. BKB has to come out. That's Nightfall. Starting to focus the damage onto the base. Fortification out. Then they're going to realize soon that this Lina ain't returning for 30 seconds still.
I love this from VP. As Kyle famously said, that's playing to win, baby.
Their exits there as VP. Starting to equalize the state of each bases.
So when you see the buyback timer hit about 15 seconds, you kind of know this guy won't buy back. Even if he has it at this point, he's not going to expend it. So, you know, VP, they don't really have any information to play with here. They're just going to back off, probably thinking, you know what, next Roshan. It's unfortunate for all the people watching, but I think that's really what it's going to come down to.
I mean, next Roshan as well, someone's going to get a bonus cheese out of it.
Oh, right, that's right.
So it's going to be even more of a reward for whichever side grabs it.
Yep, so we got Invoker eyeing up a Hex. We have DM eyeing up a BKB. And, you know, for Phoenix, I'd say maybe try to start farming that Refresher. They need that. The Sunray seems to be crucial. He actually doesn't have the Aghanim Shard. I'm quite surprised by that.
Oh, see, now they picked up the cheese now, GPK. Finally finding it here, so.
I think if you're VP, really the dream teamfight scenario is finding that silencer, but it's going to be really, really hard. Invoker is just hiding very well. He almost has a Refresher, by the way.
Do they want to jump Toronto Tokyo? Looks like a bit of a bait. There's the jump. Yatoro collapsed. They're straight over the high ground. They're another Kicksave. Kicksave gets the supernova. Doom down onto the Luna, but with the egg out, there's no Sunray to help the Luna as Light falls out. GPK will turn with the BKB to commit back onto Collapse. It's a 2 for 1 with Save buying back. We're also going to have a buyback for Collapse because Toronto Tokyo, he's just charging in on VP. VP having a run. GPK cast out. They've got the grip for the low grab, but Yatoro jumps in with the avalanche. Can't quite find the Bane though. The grip persisting, holding back Toronto Tokyo. It doesn't matter though. Yatoro, he's got enough damage on his own to finish off GPK whilst Toronto Tokyo's held back.
Buybacks were expended though. You no longer have buyback on Collapse and no more buyback on Save. So VP now because they didn't use the buybacks on their cores, they're going to get a fight in their team fight. And they have the roar ready. So most likely what you're going to see is some sort of initiation attempt come out from VP into the immediate buybacks.
Sure. But if you are Spirit, you do want to force these buybacks out, right?
Absolutely. If you don't get the buybacks out, you're fighting at a numbers disadvantage at the next row.
So are you getting the buybacks and then you're getting out of there, or what?
I think that's great, but you'd never know. Spirit has been playing very aggressively this game, and they might as well just commit for it. Who knows? They want the Luna, though. It's not enough with the Invoker. They want both for sure.
It's the fortification, so that's something.
Yep. Spirit reading the fact that VP want initiation before they blink in, so they're dropping the Lotus Orb prematurely here.
Can they get that Nightfall buyback? It's only 20 seconds. Looks like Team Spirit are going to back off, not feeling that they can pressure it out any longer.
Yep. Still in a comfortable position, Spirit. They have been able to take over the map now, and they have their heroes wherever they want to be. So VP need to be scared when they move out of their base. And you notice how they're swinging up to the top side of the map? Well, that's because they saw Team Spirit at the bottom. So don't really want to run into a potential Team Spirit sitting on a high ground situation anywhere.
Out they come, VP. Cheese has been passed over to Nightfall for the next move.
Yeah, this move is coming out a little bit prematurely. Roshan can't really spawn yet, so even if you get kills here, you won't get the Aegis. And I would say this is probably due to the fact that it's, you know, TI, Game 3. They feel the pressure.
Toronto Tokyo's heading in. He's going to get the Light Strike Array down onto Nightfall. But they want to jump the Shitoris, looking to try and get him from the side. He's got his eyes on DM. Nightfall charging in onto Toronto Tokyo, but doesn't want to go any further. Tiger Shitoris in with the combo. Nightfall pops the BKB. BKB out for now. VP are having to reset. The BKB is going to wear off on him, and DM's already used it as well. Toronto Tokyo coming in with the BKB. The global side is shooting the X out, but it's immediately taken down. Hex from GPK onto Toronto Tokyo. Buyback straight up from Kingslayer. Mirrors in with a 4-man slow. Yatoro in with a 3-man combo. Triple kill for Yatoro. Collapse got the Doom down onto DM. They're chasing out the Beastmaster. DM's out of action. Buybacks from both Nightfall and TM, but Save and GPK, they do not have the luxury of returning to this fight.
This Tiny is going to chonk down those base towers, and they have buyback on Lina, on Tiny, on Snapfire, and Silencer. It's only the Doom, and his job is done, right? He's taken out 2 heroes. He's used his Doom. So whether he lives or dies here in this next fight, it doesn't really matter. For Team Spirit, now you just gotta stay focused, make sure you keep the right heroes in front, don't make any mistakes, and this game is very likely gonna be yours.
They're so close to grabbing it here, Spirit. One more good jump from Collapse with a Doom, and it's pretty much gonna be game over for VP. There it is, the jump's in, they're on to Nightfall, he stands no chance at all, and the Luna will fall! Kingslayer as well, GG is called, as Team Spirit knock VP out of the competition!
Oh man, who would have believed this coming into TI? Team Spirit, I don't think they've ever beaten VP in an official before. Finally, at TI.
At TI.
Overcome it.
What a time to do it. VP, they've always looked like that unstoppable beast of the region, and Spirit, I mean, you can already feel it in the series leading up to this. Spirit getting that magic, that LAN performance from some of these new faces that before TI, you wouldn't have expected to see, but the confidence they're displaying on this main stage in games like this, you've got to ask yourself, how far can these guys go? And if they keep this sort of level of performance up against a team like VP, who already, you know, back in the first series of VP on the main stage, it was clear that VP, they're not playing bad. They turned up full power, but still, Spirit, they're able to shoot them down.
Yeah, absolutely. VP can hold their heads high, but I feel that magic in the air when I look at Team Spirit playing. It's reminding me of a TI8 underdog team.
Absolutely. What a series. What a game 3 from Spirit.